Back in my bag, yo. Conscious. ISO. Diamond. Back in my bag and I gotta brag, I do this shit for real. When we was down and we had nothing, we had to share a meal. We put the shit in overdrive with no steering wheel. Shorty throw that thing back in a pair of heels. Yeah, she be riding on that thing like a Ferris wheel. Yeah, I love them dark skin, brown skin, caramel. You know I had to bring it to the hood like she Karen Civil when she keep on turning head. Cause when she walk that thing jiggle. And we going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back flow, we back again so highly. This that back in my back flow, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back flow, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back flow. Back in my, yeah, back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, I'm back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, this my, back in my bag flow. Back again, yeah, we keep on stacking it, what's happening? Everything the Gucci got me feeling like I'm dapper then. Life has been a movie, yeah, so shout out to the cameraman. Pull up to the scene, it's going down like an avalanche. steady going up like a travel plan. Homer Simpson face, lucky power plant. Yeah, I'm off that dope, like I'm back again to busy at the Millies. I don't club hers, give the word if it's a cinch, Lord forgive me. Still having motion, dog, so why would I slow it? Make it rain on them, bust a band, then you throw it. We was steady having it, even at our lowest. High speed road runner, keep my motor going. Hey, hey. People feel away, but they don't show it. Gotta watch the people that's around you, that you grow it. They be coming around you with some plans to steal your moment. Soon as I bust a nut, she be like, baby, where you going? Never slowing down, it's enough to go around. Yeah, you probably knew it's then, but really you don't know it's now. Niggas let it show and tell, but all my niggas know me well. It was either chase a dream or go to jail, but none of us ain't going. We going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back, low, we back again so highly. This that back in my back, low, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back, low, we bring the
What is up, kid?
Back in my back, low. Back in my, yeah.
I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. I had a little last minute interruption. Hold on 1 second. All right. What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday, the day before hump day. What is everybody up to? We got B Shady was in the house, channel member. Good to see you, buddy. Justin Tom was in the house, channel member. Good to see you, brother. Gnarly Charlie is in the house. We got Crispy Critter, my brother from another mother, and a channel member. And we've got Brother Eggs and Ham. What is up, Eggs? We got Joe Isabella, the man, the myth, the legend, and also a channel member. Good to see you, Joe. And we've got Paul Mills. I just saw Paul Mills and several other people before I jumped in here, and I don't know whose live it was. It was a really good live, and it was a guy going over knives, and all y'all were in there. And I forget who it was because I have brain damage, but that's just me. Not only Charlie, I think I said hey, but hey again. Who else we got in here? All right. Yeah, I just checked. I don't mind. I was just making sure Tri-State was finished before I jumped in here. I'm usually ready to go a little bit early, but I just never want to, jump on anybody else. Jump in anybody else's train. And now when I got out, I bumped my table. Look at that. A mess. Look at that. All right. So how is everybody doing? What is going on? Have y'all been just going crazy with all the new drops that are coming out? All the knives that are getting ready to drop in the next couple of days? Some very cool stuff. I was watching last night for a little while, KC and Ben showing that new bolster lock, which is probably my favorite looking of those. However, I'm not liking the background. So I'm going like a pineapple under the sea. Eggs, I'm going to shoot you. I know you might be busy, you might be studying, but I'm going to shoot you a IG. Guess what I found out, guys? Kind of an interesting thing. I don't know if y'all know, and I don't have it out here, but my Dustin driver, my driver defense splinter, one of my favorite EDC fixed blades made out of MagnaCut. And Dustin is about 45 miles away from me. And I've met him at blade shows the first time I met him. I've seen him at the Nashville Custom Knife Show. Well, he posted on his page the other day, and I'll show you guys here in just a second, but he posted on his page the other day that he was making these 8 knives to take this knife show. And this knife show I've never heard of in my life. And it's in my city. And it's like the 22nd. It's like on a Saturday. It's at the JC's building up here. And I am going to, let me show you guys. I'm not going to be able to buy anything, but I'm definitely going to go. And I have a feeling, I don't even know who's putting it on, but I have a feeling Dustin will probably be the only maker of his caliber there. Show you this right, y'all. So basically, this is the post I saw where he said, here's what I plan on having the show in Huntsville, February 22nd. And I've got one of these. This is a splinter. This little guy looks very interesting to me. He does folders and fixies. But this is the show. It's February 22nd. Again, that's probably 10 minutes away. And I need to reach out to these people and see what the deal is, because it looks like it's only if you're going to buy a table, you would have to pay. It doesn't look like it's, pay to the public. But again, I don't know who's putting it on. I don't know how Dustin found out about it. I reached out to Shane, and Shane had heard about it, but he wasn't planning on doing anything for it because he's so busy and dealing with, just getting caught up and stuff. But no, man, it is good to see everybody. I want to show y'all several cool things. But one really cool thing that I'm not a big flashlight guy, and I'm really not a big honking flashlight guy. But what's unique about this light, you notice it turned on when I took it off its base. This is a knife by, or a light by Focusrite's. It's their MX something. I'll pull it up in a second. But you'll notice it's got this black cap on it. Well, this is the company that makes Prometheus lights, but they also do this imported line. And this uses a I've got several of these, 26650 removable battery. It's got a couple of buttons that comes with it, so you can change out the buttons. You can change out bulbs. But basically what's cool about this is called a standby light. So it's not a car light. It's not a EDC light. It's a light that you set in your house, and it sets in this base. So it sits in a charging base all the time. And when your power goes out or your power cuts, it automatically goes on. And so you can go find it, pick it up, And if you do it on low, it's got like 200 and something hours. It's got 2.5 hours on high. But I also noticed when you just pick it up out of the base, it automatically turns on to low. So it's a really cool light. It's they sent it to me to check out. Focus 47s is their imported line. And this is the second light they sent me to check out. The first one was the little Quirk 3, and I love that light. But these guys, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Prometheus lights. Prometheus, I want to say they're USA made lights. They could be Canadian. Don't quote me on it. Let me pull it up. Their website's darksucks.com, which is kind of funny. So they've got their lights. These are the really expensive ones, but I think they're USA made. Oh, Lefty would know, but I think these are USA made. But then they build them to the same type of specifications. They just have them built overseas. And what they do is they don't solder the boards. They make them where they're very much tinkerable. Now, I'm not a tinker guy, but if you want to like change out your reflector, if you want to put in a glow ring, if you want to do, change out for a clicky or tail button on one that has a tail button. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that's the Maelstrom standby. And that is that light. It's got 5 settings, kind of a low, medium, high, and a burst. Again, it's by no means a pocket light. It's not an EDC light, but it's a light that you just set by your phone or you set it somewhere in your house. And then when the power goes off, it automatically turns on. You go pick it up, and it comes with a little extra buttons if you want to change out the buttons, little tool. Just cool stuff. It's really it's the second light that I've had from them. The first one is a light that I highly recommend because I've got a couple of I'm actually carrying one today, the Quirk 3. This is a programmable light that has a really neat chip in it. If it would actually, are y'all looking at that one? So that's more of an EDC light. Whoops. It's a small little guy, really bright. They get really good ratings. They use really good processors. And again, no silicone is applied to the PCB. So it's just cool stuff. Anyway, I haven't done a review on this one yet because I've just started using it. But it was funny. I had a power surge. What's up, Richard Hopkins? I had a power surge, and what it does is it comes on like low. I mean, it was just a short. We've been having it rain here for the last 2 days, but it was just a short little flicker of the power, and I happened to be sitting in here looking at it, and it just comes on low. So I think it would be a good storm light. It would be a good kind of home light, something like that. And I'm sure there are others that you can plug in. Charlie shared a link. Let me see what we got here. I've got to go where I can actually click on it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh, Reggie. I'm subscribed. All right, guys. That's Gnarly Charlie's link. So what we're going to do is, if y'all get a chance, go sub to him. What's up, 1931 Leatherworks? Who else have I missed coming in here? Good to see you, Richard. Richard, for some reason, I feel like you've asked a question that I haven't answered. Ed, channel member, what's up? Ron, good to see you. The new Civivi Dagger fixed blade. I have not seen those. Y'all hold on one second. I'll show you something that I saw that was very cool, and it's not practical. The fixed blade. Boom, boom, boom. All right. I've got to quit doing those sound effects. Hey, say hey to Eggs and Ham, guys. I've got somebody here to help me make sense of it. Let me remove that from the stage. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Feeling nostalgic right now. I don't know what it is, but what is up, guys?
Dude, it's good to have you back around in chats.
Oh yeah, it's good to be back, man.
Okay, so the Civivi fixed blade new. I'm trying to find this new Civivi fixed blade dagger.
What's up, Richard?
But I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
What are you looking for?
The CRKT XOLO. I used to have all the little what were they called? The minimalist? Those little small. No, that's pretty cool. That's a fixed blade. That looks like a flipper. Check this thing out. This looks like a definite. I'm gonna share it. Looks definitely like a defensive knife.
It's got the VEF serrations on it.
Yeah, and dude, it's I bet it's made out of SK5.
SK5.
What is SK5? And they call it VEF serration.
SK5 steel, high carbon, non-stainless Japanese steel used to make tools and knives.
I mean, that thing looks like a little just jabber. I mean, look at the little handguard. I like it. I like it. Let's see what it sells for at Blade HQ. $94. So it's under $100 retail. SK5. Interesting. I learn something every day. Do you know the name of that Civivi? The new Civivi fixed blade? Ron, let me go Civivi dagger. Let me Google that. Dagger. Oh yeah, that's a flipper. That's not it. Oh, there's.
I don't see a dagger.
You know, they're a company that I've always really been a fan of, and I've talked to them at a couple of blade shows, and they must only work with a couple of people. They must have like just a few.
Knives. They have 7.
Because they don't. I mean, they don't seem.
The closest thing I'm seeing Closest thing I'm seeing so far is the Orthrus to
Maybe
being double-edged.
is it a fixed or is it folding? Because I saw a
It's
folding.
fixed. They have a full-on fixed blade category.
Oh, I'm
So
looking
go
at the fixed blade.
scroll
Okay.
up.
Yeah, the Orpheus right here. Is that
That's the
what
closest thing I'm seeing to double-edged.
definitely looks wicked. I mean, those double edges. I'll show you a weird knife that I've got that I don't carry much.
The Tamashi, maybe? That has a swedge kind of thing at the top. Not really a double edge though. It's on page 2.
I've got that guy right there. Have you seen it? This little push dagger converting knife, or is that showing it to you?
Yeah, it's nice. It looks almost like something that should be like an auto.
Well, the only thing bad about it, well, a couple things. One, I mean, it works great as a fixed blade, but as a push dagger, that's how you have to carry it.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I doubt I'd be using it as a push dagger much, but it's pretty slick design. So what was the other one you were saying? Let me go back to
It's on
fixed.
page 2. It was above that one. It's called the Tamashi. Right there. Right next to your cursor. But it's not really a double edge.
No, but it looks like it's got a false edge up
Yeah,
there.
it's got a
doesn't it?
false edge, yeah. That's the closest thing I'm seeing besides a Civivi Mini Elementum that also looks like it has a
Let's
false
do
edge.
this.
Yeah.
Let's go to their Instagram real quick, because usually that's where I see new stuff. The VV.
Oh, here we go. Perfecto.
Somebody send the link.
The Perfecto. It's on page 3.
Let me go back. Page 3. We were one page shy.
It's the only other thing I see. And then on page 4, there's the Kepler, but I don't know how old that is. It says discontinued, so I'm guessing it's old.
Are you talking about the art? No. Oh, I see the Perfectio coming soon. That's it, I bet.
Probably.
I bet that's it right there. That is a pretty interesting knife.
Perfecto, whatever it's called.
What do we got? Aluminum handle, Nitro V blade. Nope. What is this one got? These G10 handle, 14C blade. That's a very nice knife. Probably longer than I would normally carry, 9.31 inches. Definitely be a good primary carry.
You found one in a Nitro V?
Oh, I'm not sharing it. Damn it. And I'm not
Okay.
sharing.
I was about to say, all I see is 14C28.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at the knife under it. So what I was making a huge, hey, I wasn't sharing the dang thing. No, what I was doing is I was looking down here and I saw the Nitro V on these other knives they're trying to sell.
Yeah, it's a 14C28.
But I like that. And that's a milled burgundy G10 handle. Let's see if it's if anybody's got it coming soon. I like Blade HQ just because, not because I buy there, but because they usually have stuff before other people do.
Like, especially when it comes to Civivi. Yeah.
Go.
They have a whole Civivi sponsorship, so.
Well, like I said, Civivi is definitely different than the other. $84 is what it's going to be selling for. That's what it's going to be.
It's a false edge, though. It's not sharpened.
Right, but what, like, would you have to have a grinder, or could you do that on a
you could definitely sharpen that. Yeah, you could sharpen that on a fixed angle.
And would you
sharpen that plate hand?
Yeah, I wonder if you'd really need to, or if it'd be good enough in terms of its pierceability. How much better it makes it if it's got. I guess it's got to have more gnarliness if it's sharpened on both sides.
I mean, you could sharpen one side, one angle, and then one side, and leave it stock.
Richard,
or at the stock angle.
I don't know if you saw it. What's interesting about it is it's only when it opens that the lock bar over travels, or the liner lock over travels, and then if you barely tap it, it comes right back to where it's supposed to be. So I'm wondering, maybe it's just something tightened up in there. It's not a fixed blade 1931 Leatherworks. I call it a fixed blade because it's a folder. It's a wacky folder push dagger. But one thing about it, I wouldn't want to pierce with it, but if you put your thumb, like, hey, Messer, good morning.
What's up, Messer?
But when you roll it into the fixed blade position, if you hold your thumb, it kind of locks it in, but it's definitely not anywhere close to a fixed blade. But it's great for opening Amazon packages. I've really grown. This little knife's grown on me.
Which one?
I carry it all the time. This is it's called Straight Line is the maker. It used to be one of the designers at MKM over in Italy. It's Italian made, but it's a little small pocket dropper. It's about, I don't know, 6 inches. And I carry it in my back pocket like a wallet. And I find myself pulling it out more than I do my folder, which is just clipped to my pocket. And again, I got it because it was gimmicky. And this is back when I was buying stuff, because I would buy gimmicky stuff because I felt like it was kind of my duty to buy it and try it out for the channel. And it was after Jared did his review where he punched the chair and like it's stuck in the chair. I would never do that. I mean, after holding that knife, I would not feel comfortable. If I was in a defensive situation, I would maybe use it as a push dagger if I didn't have something better in my pocket. But yeah, it's definitely got a little bit of interesting design, and it is made to stabilize itself. But I can only imagine, dude, that's so. Is that one of the old school ones, or is that one of the new ones he did?
Old school.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Alex Steingraber.
Yep, the shark.
Yeah, the 4V.
He just did a release of those at his own detriment to show how competitive American makers could be. They were $179, and they went.
I don't think I paid very much for that one either.
No, I mean,
I paid about $140, $150 when that originally came out, and it was all the hype at that time, and it was hard to get.
I would love.
Everybody was waiting in line for one.
I think it's a gorgeous knife. I've got this little, and this is nothing like it, but it kind of reminds me of it when I bought it. It's the T. Denny Apprentice. This one's tiny.
I mean, I got small hands. You got to remember that. I don't have big hands.
But like that one, this little
it's got a poon spoon though.
Yeah, it's like 6 inches. And Tyler makes these. He's a USA maker, but that knife, I've seen it before, and that to me is a perfect size because it's got a taller blade. It's got a handle that you can feel. I mean, it's just great for cutting stuff.
Mm-hmm. Dude, the grind he does on these, Alex, is insane. Straight up zero grind. It's insane.
He's Joey Roman Necker. I've got a Joey Roman mini Tanto. It's back in the other room, but could be a neck knife, I guess. It's a chisel grind. And then I just recently traded for this one. This is a Koch Tools chisel grind. A little kind of angry knife.
I think I only have 2 fixed blades. Hold on.
I started with 2 fixed blades. I started with a SE3 stainless steel, and then I picked up a Boker crafted knife, and then I got into small fixed blades and went down a rabbit hole that is still consuming me.
The other one I keep on my bed.
Ooh, is that a Ted?
It's a Ted. It's a one of 15. It is the first one he ever made.
What is that handle material?
It is the maple burl.
Oh, dude, that's so. I mean, and that's Is he still doing those knives? I mean, because those were like the hottest little thing, and he did a couple of batches of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Ted's done with knives because he went over to Glow Rhino, I believe.
Oh, okay. So he's working in the industry doing other stuff.
Yeah, I believe he went over to Glow Rhino, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a beautiful knife.
So he kind of took a step back from the whole knife making and knife community, but I love Ted. Tactical Everyday Dad. In case.
Yeah, Tactical
those are
Everyday Dad.
wondering.
Was he? Well, he was making those too, wasn't he? Or was he having?
No, he had them outsourced by somebody local to him. But they
Seems
were
like
all
it would be.
handmade, American made.
I'd love for him to do another batch. I mean, does he know the demand's there, or does he think the demand might not be there?
I don't know.
Do you talk to him?
Probably. I don't talk to him very often anymore.
I wonder if he has any.
I could reach out to him.
Around. I wonder if he's got any laying around that he hadn't been able to sell. Probably not.
I mean,
Even
there's
if
always a
they're
possibility. Because I'm sure he may had probably like lots of prototypes made. Because that was a local person to him, so I bet you he probably still has some laying around.
I hope it was lucrative enough for him. But Glow Rhino, I've got one of their pry bars. I know they make a lot of accessories like inserts for titanium,
pews, guns, all kinds of things. Yeah,
all over the board.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you ever go to a convention or show of any kind and they have a Glow Rhino booth, you will definitely see Ted there. Tactical
Dr. Drew, dude, how are you, buddy?
What's up, Drew, dude?
I would
Crispy?
recognize Ted because I forget whose video. Who did I see him on Tri-States Live or whose live did I used to see him on? Did he have his own lives?
He used to have his own lives, I believe.
Yeah, okay, I think that's where I would see him because he was talking about the Teds.
Yeah, just like the guy who I don't even know if he still does Civivi anymore, but he had his own channel too. The guy that does all the like crazy martial artsy stuff, but he worked for Civivi for a long time. Oh, now I'm gonna freak out trying to figure out his channel name. I have it followed somewhere.
Humphrey, I have not, but I'm going to pull it up right now and I'm going to follow it. Hold on, Desert Dog. Guys, I used to watch knife content constantly, but I was caught up in the loop, right? Where I'd watch Desert Dog Outdoors. Desert Dog Outdoors. Oh yeah, Essie Dives. Rob, yes.
Go to Civivi. He has a Civivi knife out now, I think, too, right now.
I think the best budget knife of last year.
Tactical Tavern. That's the guy's name. I don't even have to. I just remembered
Tactical Tavern a maker?
He's a designer.
Oops, is he on the Insta or where are you looking at him?
He's on Insta, I believe. Tactical Tavern 78. No, not that one.
See if I can. Oh, I'm seeing more and more.
Here he is, Tactical Tavern. Yeah, he's on Insta.
Tavern.
I'll link him. Tactical Tavern. He's the guy who did Civivi knives. So a lot of the Civivi knives you saw on like the SHOT Show videos and stuff.
He's one of the designers.
Yeah. And here, let's link Ted too, because I love Ted. Tactical Everyday Dad.
Yeah, he came up because I follow Ted or Tactical Everyday Dad. Oh, he's got a TKL agent. I've got 2 of those agents. Those are great knives. Is he a fighter knife guy or is that his like martial arts guy?
The Tactical Tavern, he's more martial artsy. He created a knife, and I think he has one out right now through Civivi, if I'm not mistaken. But anytime you used to see like a Civivi video over the last not the last year, but the last couple years before that, he was one of the people that was always doing the interviews.
Yeah, I think they've got that. What's his name? The guy who's kind of jacked up. I forget his name. Wes.
Mm-hmm.
Wes is the main guy at the booth, and then they've got the little Cougar Kyle. You remember Cougar Kyle?
Yeah, Wes and Kyle have always been there. The Tactical Tavern guy was fairly brief when it comes to the Civivi booth, but he was very influential when it came to doing interviews and stuff because like all of us, well, not like all of us, but like some of us, he had his own channel where he did knife reviews and had his own special thing he was
So he's on YouTube too?
Oh, yeah.
Let me find it.
Tactical Tavern is definitely on YouTube as well. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I remember him the last time I went to SHOT Show, which was 2 years ago. He gave me one of his cards. He was a really cool guy to talk to. Really
So
nice.
do you just get into SHOT Show as a? I'm subscribed. I'm gonna put it as YouTube. It's Tactical Terry Talks, right?
No.
No,
I
that's
don't
something
think so.
different. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
unsubscribed. That looks like a.
Hold on. YouTube. Maybe he doesn't have. Yeah, he still has one. Tactical Tavern.
Oh, I went Tactical Terry. That's my bad. Tactical Tavern.
Yeah. There we go. Linked in the chat.
Got it. Just clicked on it.
I don't know how many of you have beards, but you see like stray beard hairs in your camera. It drives you insane.
Oh, I just let mine go wild. Steven makes fun of it all the time.
It
He
drives
doesn't
me
make fun of it to my
insane.
face. Hey, Rob 10 Ring. But yeah, ever since I let mine grow, I don't know why I didn't let it grow out on the sides. Because I guess before when I had short hair, I always had a little goatee.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, Blessed Knives?
I'm gonna check my phone real quick.
Donnie.
What's up, Donnie?
Donnie, I was watching a channel tonight. Paul Mills will have to time in whose channel it was, but they were showing one of your, I don't think it was the Ripley, but it was Carco's that Carco had sent this guy to check out. And I don't know the channel. Let me go because I was watching. Let me go to my history. Hold on. History. It was Help with Gadgets. I'm going to share his channel because I really enjoyed that live. But check this out, Donnie. Look at this knife on the table. He didn't know as much about it because Terry had sent it to him, Tactical Terry. But I'm going to share. You see that bad boy right there? Is that showing to you guys?
Yeah, which one?
The fourth one to the right is Donnie Blessed Knives knife. Let me make it bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth one from the right.
Does it have a hole?
No, it's got studs.
It's got
this one right here. And I think it's a chisel grind, if I'm not mistaken. But this guy, Help with Gadgets, has 710 subscribers. I'm subscribed. I enjoyed his live. I'm going to share his link. Most of y'all are probably already subscribed. Newt Lefty. Thank you, buddy. I don't know him. I mean, all I know from watching his live is he's a granddad. So I'm assuming he's probably younger than me, but around my age or within the same generation, maybe.
Bonnie says he got the chisel Tonto.
Oh yeah, let me show you that before it, because I mean I'll put it this way. I know Carco because I've traded with him and bought knives from him. He uses his knives and he has definitely been using this, which is awesome. I'm sure that's what Donnie wants it to be done with, is used. So if I'm not mistaken, is
I'm curious about the Tonto though.
Yeah, I want to show it. I mean, it looks just sick.
Personally, I'm not a Tonto kind of guy.
This is a different looking kind of Tonto. Let me get
like
back
when it comes to like dude, I can't even think right now. Oh, it's right here. The Chavez style Tonto, down.
Oh, I love that.
But like American style Tonto, down with. Also chisel grind, in case those didn't know.
Ooh, I've seen those. I wonder who. So a chisel grind. Do you find it easier to cut with the chisel grind, or do you just like it? Because my OCD messes with me on the blade centering, which is silly.
It depends on what you're trying to cut with. It all depends on what you're trying to cut.
Donnie, is it this one right here, this top one?
That doesn't look like the photo. It looked like it more had like a spidey hole kind of insert.
It
Not
had it had
a
thumb studs. It had definitely had thumb studs.
yeah. It had thumb studs, but it wasn't more. That's more like a. Dude, I can't even think right now. I'm so tired.
Is that it? No.
No, that's more Warren Cliffy.
5-door got the chisel Tonto.
Wait.
I got you. I got
Plus
you.
says yes. That top
So
knife.
this is the chisel Tonto, I think, up here. I think this is. It's not the
Interesting.
knife that we were just looking at, but I
Hold
think this is the one you wanted to see.
Okay, let's see.
If I'm not mistaken.
I just don't like the thumb.
You can
disc.
do studs, or Donnie makes all that stuff.
Yeah.
That was a chisel. I don't know if it's
Like a lot of my buddies had the Emersons, and they all had thumb discs. I've never been a fan of the thumb discs.
I've got the Mini A100, and I'm not great with it either.
I just don't
Check
like
that out.
See that is a Tonto I enjoy. Very small Tonto point. I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that. It's when somebody like overdoes that front part and it's just too much like a shovel. It's just like I can't do it.
Where it's too steep of an angle.
Yeah, like so. Here, if I can get around my dog without him freaking out. Like my first ever knife was a SOG XR, I believe, of some kind. I'm sorry, babies. I actually hit my dog in the face. Okay, I'm sorry.
What kind of pup you got hanging out?
Hold on. You're gonna see my dirty room. Say hi, puppies.
Hey, buddy, is yellow lab?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're awesome dogs, man. I miss my dog. My Ashley was 12, 13 years old. She passed away when I was at the play show. It sucks.
So
yeah, Ron, Donnie did. He made that with just his hands and a couple of tools and some files.
First ever knife I bought myself.
Got the seatbelt cutter. I love it.
Yeah, seatbelt cutter and all. Yeah, and assisted. Not a fan. But like it's just like, it's like a freaking shovel, dude. Like the fact that it's shorter on Donnie's, like it comes up to the Tonto. Like I'm okay with that. But yeah, it's like
you just
weird.
Don't like that exaggerated point for the Tonto.
I don't like the exaggerated point. Like this thing is a pain in the ass to sharpen.
Yeah, Kyle's talked to me a lot about that, and I still have a hard time understanding how he's talking about matching those bevels.
Yeah, matching the bevels is a pain. Like the smaller the bevel, it tends to be slightly easier, but like when you have a big freaking area, it's not as fun.
And you're just trying to sharpen that bevel, right?
Yeah.
And then work it, I guess, clean it in.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't sharpened in a couple of days. I usually try to sharpen a knife every other day. I enjoy it. I do it on a fixed system, though. I'm a hack. I'm working on my tip refinement.
I have a Canadian too, but I don't really use it that often. So.
Is that the one that's the belt?
The belt one, yeah.
Does it work pretty good? I mean, I almost got one of those early on.
If you like a convex edge, is that what it is?
Kyle Cooley, what's up, weirdo? Good to see you, dude. Tontos are great piercers. I don't think I have one out here. I tried to just throw out a little.
If you like a convex edge, then the Canadian is not bad because it's like a rounded edge. Does
it not get fast enough to where it'll burn your edges? You don't have to. I would say it's pretty slow.
It's not the fact that it's like you'd have to build a support bar in with a stabilizer behind it to get a flat edge. Because you're basically just putting it on the belt, and the belt obviously rounds as you're putting pressure, so it'll convex it. Yeah.
It gets it super sharp, I imagine.
It does get it nice and sharp, and it comes with plenty of belts. And I personally like
Evening Todd Carr.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No, I like this little Tanto and this axial, and it's got a longer Tanto. I haven't tried to sharpen it because it's a compound grind.
Yeah. Thankfully, I haven't had to sharpen this Chavez, which is also a compound grind, because I guarantee it's probably going to be a pain in the ass also.
Well, you only have to sharpen one side of it, right? And then just, as Kyle will tell you, knock the burr off the back.
Yeah, knock the burr. But
it's deep hollow and then it's flat.
yeah,
on the
but
front.
same issue. But since it's so much until right here at the point, like matching those is probably going to be a pain in the dick.
Is that one you'd want to sharpen, or would you send it off?
I'd probably send it off.
Yeah, Kyle's all over that.
Yeah, no, I'd probably send it off because I don't have the patience for that personally. Like, I have a lot of patience and tolerance, but when it comes to sharpening knives like that, nah. Like,
Kyle,
give me a
have you
kitchen knife and
sharpened one
I'll
of
hand
those?
sharpen that all day long, but no.
Yeah, I can't hand sharpen. I mean, I've done it on a few slip joints, but I just don't feel that I'm ready to do anybody's knife or my knife to any type of progressive grip pattern. I've used my Work Sharp field sharpener just to get an edge on something. Zach Stuff gifted a membership. Zach, thank you, dude, and welcome. I've got to give you a man hug. Everybody sit back. A real quick man hug. Thank you, brother. I'll give you one in person when we bump into each other.
I give a Zach a man hug every time I see him.
Kyle Coonley has sharpened the chisel tontos.
Yeah. They seem like a pain in the ass, personally. Just looking at it looks like it's going to be a pain in the ass.
I don't see how you, I mean, I realize you learn from just trying, and I've learned on cheap knives, but like I asked Kyle, when do you feel the confidence to do someone else's knife? And I just don't know when that would be. I guess you hit some kind of Zen level.
Yeah. I mean, what I think it boils down to is like you hit that self-confidence level of like, hey, I was able to do this, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed, because I haven't seen him in a while, but I noticed Jared's been putting out some sharpening videos lately, or sharpening lives. I've seen him come across my feed because I hadn't seen much of his content at all in a while.
I haven't seen a lot of, usually, like, because I'm subscribed to Jared and I haven't seen him in a long, like, I haven't seen a video or a notification come up for him in a long time. No, and I love Jared and Kara. They're both really amazing people.
He's one of the first ones I guess I really liked watching his lives early on, even before Mr. Amazing days, when he would have story time and talk about the crazy shit that he would get into. Yeah, I mean, I think it's half the sharpening. Oh, speaking of, now I'd mess this up, eggs, but this is my Mini A100, and Kyle sharpened this for me.
Emerson,
what I call it?
Frozen. What the fuck? Oh, I'm being called. Who's calling me?
But this thing, Kyle turned it into just a laser.
Somebody's calling me and it freaked out.
Spam caller or somebody you need to get?
Nah, it's fine. It's all good.
But no, Kyle got my chisel just slices screaming sharp.
Yeah. I wouldn't imagine that sharpening a chisel grind would be easy, but Donnie says it's easy.
Which one, Zach? I'm sure I can't picture my buddy Zach with one 940. I can picture Zach with a case of 940s with the overflow. Yes,
Zach has an entire knife roll devoted to 940s.
This is my chance to pimp my chickadee.
Zach, is it one knife roll or is it two knife rolls? And we're not talking about a small knife roll either. We're talking about like 30 to 40 knives in one knife roll.
Donzo, that's a Kyle Coonley edge on this little Magna Cut chickadee. And it is scary sharp. Yes, Kyle says if it has an edge, yes. House confidence, almost too much.
What's up,
Dylan, what's
Dylan?
up, buddy? Good to
I
see
miss
you,
Dylan
brother.
too. I miss everybody. I miss seeing everybody at shows. That's great.
See, y'all go to different shows. I only go to the Nashville show, and which is a small one, and then Blade Show,
Show.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to Texas. I'd love to go to West, and I will one
West,
day.
honestly, West isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Well, it's for the people, right? I mean, I'm
For the
sure
people,
they're
yes.
probably not as
For the
many
people,
booths, but you get to
yes.
see different people that I would see Blade Show East.
Yeah. West is still hit or miss. So, like, either a lot of people that you want to see show up or they don't. I mean, Blade HQ people are always there, but I feel like when it comes to like vendors and the people from the knife community, they're more West Coast. It's kind of hit or miss.
Johnny, Kyle's your guy, buddy. I give him 10 stars.
Yeah, I didn't ride a Lime scooter all around SLC all night long. That was you and Justin. I remember seeing that when I was in my hotel room. I was like, oh my god.
Justin OTD.
OCD for EDC. Yeah.
Dude, he always causes. I had the pleasure of having dinner with him and Scuba Steve and several other people. And I went to bed before they had their big when I don't know if you heard about Blade Show 2022. I think it was 2022 when he was talking to his Super Still Steve was talking to his wife on the payphone, and Justin came up about 3:00 in the morning and thought he was just going to be funny and thump him on the nuts. And he thumped him so hard that it doubled over Steve for like 45 minutes, and people were gathering around, and it was all over YouTube. This bully.
I think I heard that actually.
You know, I bet you Transparent, and maybe he doesn't have a lot of bodies, but he's been a great source for AD 20.5 blades for me. I picked up 2 stock blades from him. Just because, I mean, his blades, his grinds are beautiful.
I need somebody to fix my shaman from Big Brown Bear. What is it, 5B?
Well, you need it sharpened?
Yeah. And yeah, I fucked it up on the precision adjust for sure.
Show it to Kyle Coonley on the screen.
If I can find it. Where did I put it? Ugh, gross. I added the tiniest recurve right here. It makes me sad.
Kyle, do you see that?
I mean, it is.
But yeah, it's not much.
It is mirrored for sure. But
you don't have to take that much off to straighten it out. I mean,
no.
it'd be a thing.
No.
See,
I showed it. I showed it to Sean when I was at, I think it was SHOT Show, and he was like, "Ooh, it's nice," but he's like, "What happened to your blade?"
I didn't know I was a terrible sharpener until I sent a growler. I gave it to Pocket Metal, and he was like, "Dude, this tip." And for the longest time, I would count my strokes, and I wouldn't
15B.
go horizontal with the blade. I would go kind of perpendicular up and down the blade, and that causes all kinds of problems. Hey, Ground Fog.
Yeah.
That can cause just it caused a litany of problems for me, especially on the points. But now I've gotten comfortable just going tail to tip, unless I'm knocking off the burr with my hone, then I go tip to tail.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a nice screaming edge
Yeah,
on
Kyle,
it, but
that's a good point.
it's so barely freaking recurved.
Does it bother you that bad? 'Cause look what Kyle says.
I feel you on that, Kyle. I feel like I would use it until it's dulled out because it does have a screaming edge. It is mirror polished, but I mean, it doesn't bother me that bad. like, to be honest.
If you had to
But
point it out
but
to
when
me,
you go to Sean and you're trying to like be like, hey, because you know Sean is a sharpening guy, and you try to show him your mirror edge, and then he looks at that and goes, what happened here? You're just kind of like, I tried, man. I tried, you know?
good point, Kyle. Well, maybe when he gets it dulled down, he'll have to lift the side of your stone.
Yeah, I would definitely keep using it until it's not to my satisfaction anymore, for sure. First, before anything else.
Cut it a choil or single serration. Very good point. I've always thought that, and again, I'm not a good sharpener, but I've always just lined my stone up and started there and started at the heel. And I've never heard people complain about that. It's almost like, I guess, because the plunge grind's straight, it's not a problem for people that are good sharpeners. Paul's gotten some pretty cool. Paul, you got your reblade in recently, didn't you?
Ooh. Donnie gonna build Dylan a custom?
Man, Donnie, I'm telling you, Donnie's
I'd be
getting ready.
interested to see Donnie build Dylan a custom.
That would be awesome. I mean, there's so many people I've heard talking about Bless. I'm sure Donnie's getting ready to blow up. He's probably already so busy. If the plunge is straight, no issue. Having the plunge go in front of the edge termination is what blows. True. That's where now our Spyderco's typically pretty straight. I mean, is that why people don't complain about them, or can you see them with the same problem?
The plunge?
Right, like on a Spyderco.
Plunge is pretty straight.
Yeah, you've got this straight, so you can just sharpen right back to it. Kind of use it as.
The only issue that I have with the Spyderco is they don't have a sharpening choil. It's literally just the plunge, and that's like, I don't know.
And I think they
get
do
it to
that
focus,
by
but
design.
if you can see that, like right where it gets to the plunge, there's like a weird unsharpened area, which is kind of infuriating. If you're using a fixed angle sharpener, you cannot, like, I think that's where the recurve comes in, is because I was trying to get as best as I could to that plunge, and you just can't do it. You can't do it, and then you ruin the actual blade shape.
I mean, there's no way you could do it with a hand sharpening, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, so you just have to like get out a Dremel bit and put in a sharpening choil of some kind, and
and that's one thing that I remember Jared used to talk about is some knives you can mess up your knife if you put the choil in there, depending on where the stop pin is, right?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, with this, it's Axis, so I don't feel like
it shouldn't be a problem.
It should be a problem at all. Yeah, you know, it shouldn't be a problem at all.
Yeah, a little diamond, just a hand file. The one time I tried to cut a choil and I was successful, but it didn't look great. I did it on a little D2 Civivi Beaver fixed blade. And at the time, I didn't have a clamp. I've got a clamp now, but I used a little rechargeable Dremel and a diamond bit. It took forever. But a hand file would probably have done it quicker. Just in time, Spyderco's are great knives. I've actually had a little bit of a resurgence on Spyderco's, and I'll show you the one I'm interested in, the Sage 6. Have y'all seen that?
Dude, what was the one that I was interested in?
It's got the button lock. It's got the button release compression lock. So it's Sage is the series that they do with all different kind of locks. It's not, well, that's a sprint run. So they've also got a regular S30V model.
S90's been out, yeah.
Yeah, neither one of them are out yet. But that's one of their new releases. That's the same lock that's on the Snex.
Mine is the new Slim. The Slim.
From Spyderco? From where? Man, eggs can hold a pose. I think my favorite Spyderco. Which one did you say? Eggs, the Slim,
The new Slim, yeah.
the new
That
Spyderco
thing's got
Slim?
my heart right now, yeah.
That's the one from Italy, right?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
it's got the carbon fiber insert,
Yeah, carbon fiber insert, yeah.
frame lock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that is a beautiful knife.
Yep.
SLYM. I want to share it.
Sturdy Reeve integral lock. It's an integral too, from what I remember.
Yep. And I like that they call it the Reeve integral lock.
Yeah.
I didn't know until
beautiful.
Probably my third year or second year that Chris Reeves was the first to do the frame lock, that it's actually called a Reeves integral lock.
That is a beautiful knife.
It is gorgeous. I mean, and I've
for
seen
$370, I mean, I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down. Like, not gonna lie, I'm down.
So it's a collaboration with Lion Steel.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looks, I like the clip. And what's his name was saying it's a standard Spyderco clip, but nothing about that looks like a standard clip except the spoon.
No.
But yeah, it's
I mean, if you look at the Essenza, it's fairly similar. Like it is a pretty generic Spyderco. Even if you look at the Military 2 that's coming or that's already out, like it's just an exaggerated version of that same clip.
Yeah, and they're doing
it's exaggerated. It's not the same clip. It's exaggerated for sure.
And they're doing some new salt models, which I've never been a big.
But it's a deep carry version, right? From what I remember.
Yeah,
it's a deep carry version.
This
because they don't usually Spyderco doesn't do deep carry.
Right, not at all. Usually they fight it.
Unless they do the wire clip, it's not deep carry.
This is a knife that looked ugly to me until I saw them demonstrate it on the show. It looked really cool on the show because it's just a light titanium knife.
I mean, I get it. I understand where it's coming from, but all I can think about is like that Gerber pear frame. Yeah, that's all I think about. I think about a Gerber pear frame, and like I just can't. Like for $330, as it says right there, like or $350 for anodized, like that's a Gerber pear framed on crack. Like I'm sorry, I can't do it.
No doubt. Aluminum handle. And this was an interesting little knife. This was designed, I think,
that's a Slippy, right?
Yeah. I know it stands on its end. Liner lock.
Oh, it's a liner lock.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad either. The Essenza.
Yeah, aluminum. N690 CO. Not very expensive.
Yeah.
But they showed all these. And then a bunch of new 15Vs. And this was kind of interesting, I thought. This is a Slippy, I think. No, our front flipper. What is this?
The NAND?
Yeah, the NAND is a slip it.
Is it a slip?
Yeah, slip, and it looks like a front flipper, but I guess it's not.
Non-locking mechanism, but ball joint non-locking.
So that'd be double detent?
Yeah.
7.49 inches overall. Just interesting looking.
I don't know how much of a fan I am of that, personally. Just the blade shape and overall.
A ball joint non-locking mechanism. Paul Alexander.
That's one of those ones that have to get in hand because it doesn't, like, by looks, it doesn't look very comfortable in hand.
No, it doesn't look ergonomical at all. And then here's another little slip.
You never know. Putting it in hand, it might be one of the most ergonomic knives ever. I have no idea.
This is M398. Got an interesting little blade. This is another Italian collaboration.
Pitts 2.
Yeah, Pitts 2 slip it.
Puppy, calm down. No. Stay out of my knife case. What are you doing?
What's this little chode?
Hi.
Mad Yako, what's up, buddy? Look at that little chode.
Hi.
Oh, is he giving you love?
He needs attention. He feels
Oh,
neglected.
what's his name or her name?
His name is Sly.
Sly?
Yeah, he's a sly little fucker.
Oh, Sly.
Yeah, SLY, Sly.
Just in time, very true. And I've got a dragonfly. The first Spyderco I ever got was a dragonfly in that FRN scales. And one thing I'll say about those that I did not appreciate until I held one was how good they feel. The texturing feels. For some reason, it runs both ways, and it just feels very good. And most of them, if they're not pinned together, you can add scales too. Again, not many people want to add scales to a new knife.
Mama's home.
I agree, Bless. And Kyle, I agree it sucks, but I'll say if you're going to look at FRN knives, I don't think anybody does it as well as Spyderco.
I mean, when I look at Spyderco's FRN knives,
I'm
like,
going to give
looking at it,
Mallory
I'm not a
a
fan.
wrench before you time him out. I know it's tempting, but Dylan is definitely wrench worthy.
Yeah.
And he
I
is
love Dylan.
safe. Yeah, Dylan. I bonded with Dylan because he was one of the only people at Blade Show that was my height. He was the only other average height person there. Make sure there's nobody else in here that's a sitting duck. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah, I don't plan on owning them anymore, but in terms of like Delicas have never spoken to me. The little dragonfly did early on because I didn't know what I was doing. And I've still enjoyed that little knife. I think mine's a ZDP 189, the 4-screen. But I've modded a lot of bug outs that came with FRN, cold steels, and I just think that Spyderco does it better. I like their patterning, whatever those little dimples are. D-Metal, what is up, brother? Good to see you, man. I need to that. I need to pop this up there.
Yeah, what I was saying earlier though is when you look at Spyderco's FRN scales online, they don't look that comfortable or that great. But when you get them in hand, something different about them.
They feel good, don't they?
They feel good, but I
They
agree
feel
with Bless. They are still cheap, and they shouldn't be as much as
plastic,
they
right?
are.
I mean,
They should not be as much as they are. I definitely agree with that, but
I think
they feel different.
and this is
It's
how
just different.
what's his name? Eric Glaser, or I forget his name. The
Yeah.
way he explained it is he didn't debate that they were expensive, but he said you're paying for the steel. It's kind of like buying a sports car with a really nice motor, but not a nice body.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of that's true, but it sounds like he's trying to make it.
I mean, if you look at it that way, though, it's like how much. So, like, you're only charging a couple, like $10-$20 more for G10 instead. You know what I mean? Like, is when what it really boils down
rather
to.
have G10.
I'd rather.
I've never
G10
modded
personally.
one. I've never modded a light. I've heard that they're pretty nice.
They're a pain in the ass.
Are they?
Yeah, I've never modded one, but from what I've seen, OCD for EDC Justin do, when you have to drill out those like rivets, it's
well, some of them are now coming screwed together.
Some of them do come screwed,
like
but
the
older ones were all
didn't.
riveted, so it was a pain in the dick.
Yeah, absolutely. I've watched Zach struggle through those, and not Zach, but OCD. To see him struggle through that, it's an issue. But I think that Manix 2 that came out in Rex 45 or 121, the white one with the black blade, had screws. And that's another thing Eric said in his interview is as much as he doesn't like people to take the knives apart, he realizes that modding's part of it. That's the first time I've heard him kind of say that.
And the weird thing is like from what I understand, Spyderco is one of the companies when you do model knife, they are very less open to the idea
of doing warranty work.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
What did you say? A white and black one? A Mannix?
Yeah, Mannix 2 light, or what do they call them? Mannix 2. It was somebody's exclusive. Mannix 2 lightweight.
I was like, I see a yellow one.
No, this one was white and black.
Lightweight. Oh, here we go.
The Blade HQ or DLT.
Rex 45.
That's what it is.
Exclusive. GP knives.
GP had it. All right.
GP had it. Black blade, white handle.
And it was
White
very reasonably priced because people were talking about buying it to
$205. That's not bad at all for
not
considering what you're getting for Rex 45. That's not bad.
Annex.
And that's
my favorite
now, not versus when it came out.
But that is my favorite Spyderco in lock and the way it fits my hand. I put yeah, there it is. Yeah, that one's got screws. Screws, not rivets.
2 versus Shaman.
Oh, I don't know if that was a dealer exclusive or not. Maybe it was. Yeah, exclusive GP.
The white one is GP knives exclusive.
But yeah, those went fast. But the way that they did that radial pattern in that FRN makes it, to me, I like it better than Benchmade's FRN, even though Benchmade's feels more fibrous. All folding blades cost less than $40. And Les, would that be finished, like a finished production blade? Because I know the material is probably a lot less than that. Hey, Mark Parks.
This is a Mannix too.
What was that Benchmade, the 943? What did you show me, the one that had the clip point? Because I've not gone down to Knives and More yet. I wrote it down. You showed me a Benchmade that looked like a 940, but it had a pointy blade. Yes. What's the number on that one again?
943.
943. That's what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Luke, you need a wrench. Well, let me save Luke. Somebody said timed out. I don't know if that means he got timed out. Luke's a moderator. Now, I trust anybody. $10 per blade, but I was being generous. Yeah, and I know they've got a formula that they figure that with. And again, I'm not, you guys know from my discussions, I have no problem with a company making as much profit as a market will bear, right? But it's weird that the G10 is not that much more, and you're adding liners and G10, right? Or do you have liners on the lightweights too? Is the only difference the scale?
I don't have any lightweights, so I couldn't tell you. I've always opted for the G10s.
Yeah, me too. I don't think that there's a full liner in my Dragonflies. Kyle, did you sharpen the hawk bill with one of your attachments, or did you just use stones? Dylan, whatever it makes you feel. I want everybody in here to feel good while they're here, right? Make it nice.
I want to go back to what Donnie and Justin Time were talking about, though. Playing for steel, kind of disrespectful. $10 per blade, but I was being generous.
Yeah, when he said 40.
Yeah.
So going from blade steel to blade steel.
Oh, so 40 plus or minus 10.
So like if you're looking at whether it's a FRN handle from Spyderco or a G10 handle, and you're looking at S30 to some of the different blade steels, they get kind of astronomically up there.
Oh yeah, they absolutely do.
And maybe it comes into play that they know that certain blades are going to break more. And if they're going to have to warranty, they spread that along. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Mm,
Mad Yucko, have I shown
I think there's
you?
more of a formula.
I would agree. Check this big ass carbon steel Bowie out.
Like I wouldn't doubt with big knife manufacturer, there's some formula of like, hey, this blade steel is more popular. Let's charge this much more instead of like the $10 more it costs.
You would think, but
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
do you think that has anything to do with market conditions, supply and demand, where the steel?
I mean, it probably plays a factor, but at the end of the day, it's like, hey, what are people after? What are people craving? What do people want more than anything else? What are people willing to pay more for? And then it's like, all right, let's bump it up this much.
Right. Well, I just wondered if it was kind of commodity like. For example, it's not the same price every week or every day. But I guess if you're buying from somebody like Niagara, it is.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it.
Luke, my buddy from Jackson, Tennessee, that was in my wedding to my ex-wife, and he was my guitar player in my only band, sent me this because he saw that I was posting little fixed blades, and he said I needed a big boy knife. I don't carry it. It's right here on my table. In a sheath that looks like it could ride on the side of a horse. I'm more of a little mid fixed blade size. Dr. Drew Dude, have a good night, man. Or have a good morning if it's already midnight there. And I will see you later in the week, my friend. That's true. Because I'll tell you, I love the knife. I hate the handle. Ooh, what is that? Jack Daniels what? Single barrel?
Single barrel proof.
What? Ooh. Dude. North Arm Link Burden Trout. North Arm.
So those of you who don't know what like a hazmat barrel is, this is very close to it. It is 133.7 proof.
And I bet it's smooth, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's got some heat for sure.
Well, yeah, of course, because
it's
got proof.
Yeah. But going down, yeah, it's smooth. But then the after is just like
Luke, thank you. This is another company I was not aware of. And then I'll show y'all my latest obsession. And unfortunately, I've not been able to bring one into the collection yet, but I turned my buddy A to Z EDC onto him, and he just bought his third. Dude, little Magna Cut, under $200.
Wait, who's that made by?
It's made by North Arm. Never heard of them.
Neither have I.
Made in British Columbia.
Try to search it on YouTube. No worries.
And that's the Mallard. Let's do this. Let's go to all their products.
North Arm knives.
Product.
They don't have very many options, but they have folders too, not just.
They do have some folders. The links. This is the one. I pulled up the wrong one. Where's my length? 8.5. I like it. It's a little on the long side for me, just because I'm a littler guy and only carry big knives. Like when I like that.
I don't know how much of a fan I am of their like flipper tab.
I haven't looked at the folder yet. Let me go back here.
It's just like a generic normal flipper tab shape, but it looks like a pocket pricker. I guess it's gonna hit everything you can put in your pocket. Kind
of gives me TRM vibes, except without thumb stud.
The actual scales themselves and the finishing on them, yes. But to me, it's I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the detent would be that snappy either, where the position of that flipper
The
tab
flipper
is.
tab just doesn't look like it fits the knife. I'll put it that way. Like it looks like an afterthought, personally. Again, personally.
Check these out.
On the all blue one that Zach would probably love, it looks a lot better though. But on the carbon,
no.
good. The
These are the
red,
ones I've been wanting. These getting ready to drop. See that tiny little knife? This guy used to work for his dad for like 11 years, grinding all of his knives. And his dad makes like jewelry knives. He sells them in Vail and in Tahoe. They're like 2 other dealers. But
Tahoe. What?
his knives are like I said, are they multiple thousands? And she told me they were 5-figure knives.
Tahoe's like 15 minutes for me. Tahoe. What?
Yeah, the son left. Well, there's evidently a dealer, and I don't know the name of who the son worked for, but the son and the dad had a major falling out. To so much so that the dad and the wife told me when I called him to compliment him on the knife that they were getting ready to move. They were going to be out of pocket for 2 weeks because the dad had kicked them out of their childhood home. But their bevels on the back, I mean, his grinds, I like this one because it's got a varying hollow grind. Pull up. But if you look at the back,
All right, let's
he
see
even
here.
bevels the back of that plunge where it comes into the choil.
Yeah.
And these knives are like under $200. But he's got, when you look at the style, so any style knife you could possibly want, he's got one from a light bushcraft to a medium to a hefty, from a, these little lineman knives, just all kinds of little purpose-built knives that I just found. I just found these, and I've reviewed a Hawk that my buddy has that is a fantastic knife, a little big for me, and then the Tradition Junior, which is fantastic, and the Tradition Senior, which is not much longer. It's just a thicker package. And then I'd love to try one of these Wasps because that's a little guy. But he does an amazing job. I mean, this kid, I think his name's Jared. Yeah, and Rebecca's his wife. Blah, blah, blah. Knives became well known. Okay, so here's Bloodline knives.
Still distributed today in China stores across the Western U.S.
Let me see if this is around 400. Maybe that's not his dad's because that sounds like it's his company, doesn't it?
Yeah, the most dependable knife.
My father was a stonemason, worked for the level law. Jake's knives. Big flight. So that was him and his dad, I guess. And he did all the grinding. Let's see if I can find any of these. Just one to
I don't
show
know if it was like spell correct, like auto corrected, but it's like further down. It's like nearly every knife that came out of the shop stamped with 2 Jakes. Oh, you're scrolling. Stop. Go back up a little bit. Stop. 2 Jakes was my blade work as well. The knives became well known and are still distributed today in a China, in a chain of stores. My bad. I was misreading it. In a chain of stores across the Western United States. Okay.
And one's
I kept reading in China for some reason. I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Here we go. Here's Instagram.
In a chain. Okay. I fucked up. But I also want to go back to Bless's comment of saying that. Hold on, where is it?
Let me get back over there.
Bless doesn't like whiskey, but he likes shine. Where is this? Eggs, I hate whiskey, but I fucking love real shine. Interesting.
I wonder if that's him. That doesn't.
I'm not really a whiskey person either. I like bourbon, which is a type of whiskey, but more specifically bourbon. I mean, I guess what I'm drinking now is technically Tennessee whiskey, but I'm more of a bourbon person.
I don't think this is the right company. Sure, it's not the right company. But anyways, he makes some killer knives. I mean, there's some great knife makers out there. I've got a guy coming Friday to join me who was on last year, and I need to talk to Shane because he's a maker who makes these really thick overbuilt knives in CPM 154, but they're not heat treated. And what's his name? What's Bob DeMarco's channel?
Bob
He's
DeMarco?
Yeah, Bob the Knife Junkie. He's reviewed a bunch
Knife
of
Junkie.
them. The TKL Combatant Ron is a great knife. I've got the old blade style, which is a little bit shorter, or not shorter, not as tall, thinner. I'm a huge TKL knives fan.
There's Bob DeMarco's
I
channel.
was a Crown and Coke guy. And then
I mean,
Crown
there's
and
nothing
Coke.
wrong with Canadian whiskey.
No, I don't want you to skip Kyle. I haven't talked to him, but he's only going to come on for a little bit. And I want you just to do your thing. I want you to be there when he's there. Because one of the things I'm going to ask him about is because I need to talk to Shane because Shane had heard that he was going to start heat treating or possibly, but I don't think he is. And I'm just curious. Single barrel, I've had that before.
What single barrel? Jack
And I
Daniel's
went
single
to
barrel?
a whiskey drinking thing and I was sober at the time, but they were talking about the difference in whiskey and bourbon. And there's a distinctive, all one of them or the other. Like all whiskeys are bourbon, but all bourbons aren't whiskey.
Yeah. And I thoroughly agree with Leatherworks right there. Like, this is not a normal Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels is normally a Tennessee whiskey. When you get into their single barrel, especially their barrel proof stuff, it is way more similar to a bourbon than it is an actual whiskey.
That's
It has
awesome
more
cigar. Is that a liter?
complexity than just. It's a 750 mil. Yeah, 750 mil.
And you just sip it?
Oh, I sip it. Yeah. You know, it's not. It's a. For me, bourbon and whiskeys. Like, I'm not a Scotch guy anymore. Like when I first started drinking when I was a kid, I was more into Scotch whiskeys or Irish whiskeys. But after sobriety and all that, for some reason, like getting more into complexities with bourbons has been
Just kind of
more
for
my
like
forte.
kind of being a foodie, do it for the taste. And
Yeah,
for
I don't like single malt scotches. I don't like scotches really at all. Well,
I used to drink a good bit of scotch, but I used to drink just about everything. I drink martinis depending on where I was.
I'm just not a fan of the peatiness anymore. Like
Mm-mm.
I like more vanillas and caramels. Like I like a sweeter, but yeah, it's something that like evolves over time personally. Not just something that's like one note. Like scotches do tend to have multiple notes and they do kind of go over time, but they have like a more
Musk
kind of like rye. It's more like a spicy or muskiness to it. And it's not really
it
my
kind of has
thing.
a unique aftertaste.
Yeah, exactly. It's that peatiness that gives it that uniqueness.
Very
I guess.
interesting.
Like,
1931.
I'm just not there anymore. Like to me, like originally that's something that interested me. Now it's not so much the thing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I'm not capable of just having a few shots or a few little drinks. But I would enjoy it. I think I used to love tasting whiskeys, I used to love wine tastings because I was an alcoholic cokehead, but still it was good. It was good. It was definitely good. Sobriety's overrated.
I wish he liked cheesecake. Cream cheese cake sounds good. Makes me yak. I'm with you on this, Donnie. I am not a fan of cheesecake.
You know, I can't eat a cheese Danish. Anything that says cheese in it, if
No.
it's sweet, it just throws me off. And I know it's just cream in a lot of ways, but
I could take a cheese Danish. I can take an egg tart as well, which is kind of, it's more an egg tart. It's its own thing, but it's kind of cheesy in its taste, almost in a sense. But like if you go to like a store and get like a puff pastry with like the cheese in the middle, I can handle that. But a cheesecake, I cannot do.
See,
I
I
don't
used
like
to.
New York cheesecake. I don't like any other version of a cheesecake. Not a fan.
Is it a
I don't,
consistency thing?
it's not a consistency thing. It's just like I don't like
It's got a
that cream
sour
cheese
taste in my
flavor.
mind.
Yeah, it's that weird cream cheesy flavor. Same thing with like cottage cheese. I can't. I'm not a fan of cottage cheese either. Like people love cottage cheese. It's health benefits and everything. I can't do it.
Not me, man. I almost
can't
got
do
the puking reflexes when I had a poodle once that had an upset stomach, and the vet told me to get him cottage cheese, and I had to put it on a plate, and I was getting the gag reflex because to me it just looks curdled.
It looks curdled and bad. Like it looks like it's unhealthy for you. But I mean, I
Now I
can't.
love some tiramisu.
Yeah. Oh, tiramisu, absolutely.
I can
But
get all
like,
over some tiramisu.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is about cheesecake, but like I like a good like bagel and cream cheese down with. But I'm not one of those people who likes like a fat thing of cream cheese in my fucking bagel. Like I like a thin layer of cream cheese. A thin
And for me, it's got to
layer of
be
cream cheese.
flavored. It's got to have some kind of flavor on it. I'd rather have a dry bagel.
Mhm.
Now, if it's some kind of, you know, infused cream cheese that's gourmet and has a flavor, I can get through it. But that's not really not my game.
Zach put that cheese in my mouth hole.
Now, I like cheese by itself. I just don't like sweet and cheese together. I know a dry bagel, that's just how much I'm opposed to cream cheese,
Sweet.
cottage cheese, and sour cream. And the funny thing is,
I agree with
and
this.
mayonnaise, but I
agree with
love
this.
ranch dressing. I love certain things that are made with those ingredients. And if I don't
like a
see-
buttermilk ranch dressing.
see, I like the more spicy. The buttermilk to me
Do
has
you
that
like
same-
Hidden Valley ranch dressing?
I think I do.
That's terrible.
See, but to me, the buttermilk ranch has that same taste that the cheesecake or the same little weird, like something's wrong with
exactly.
the
I don't
flavor
like
mix.
Yeah,
Well, see,
I don't know what it is.
yeah, anything that's got that cheesy taste, if it's now you give me a block of smoked cheddar cheese. No, I don't eat dry ramen noodles. And it's just a cream cheese thing. I mean, I can remember when I was a kid, my mom trying to sneak Philadelphia cream cheese on stuff that I was eating. And I was like,
Zach, I eat dry ramen noodles, but I also put the seasoning packet on my dry ramen noodles and smash it up. Like, I don't know how many other people did that in high school, middle school, even younger, maybe.
So no water,
like you
no.
take those ramen noodles and you put some of the seasoning packet in there, and then you eat it.
Kind of like a popcorn, kind of like a dry.
Yeah, dry noodles, dry uncooked noodles. Yes.
Interesting. Seems like you could get some exotic worms in your stomach.
Zach is down. I am with you on that, eggs.
I've never done it. Now I lived off ramen noodles, and I love a good thing of ramen noodles.
Yeah.
Just grind it.
As long as you add the seasoning packet to it, and like, let me preface this: you do not add the whole seasoning packet. I mean, you can if you're opening the whole ramen. Like what you do is you smash it.
He's coming back, guys. He's just thinking. So what is mayo? Is it eggs? All right. What were you saying? You smash it down to like powder, or they're just
No. So you just take so like literally you get the like Top Ramen or Maruchan, whatever brand you prefer. Like, because everybody likes their own brand, but you take that Top Ramen, you smash it. So first you break it in half, the other way, and then you kind of smash it down until where it's like bite-sized little noodles, not towards a powder, but bite-sized noodles.
Right.
Some chunks still.
So
and then you take the seasoning packet and you can dump what I prefer is 3/4 of it in. Some people do a whole thing.
And shake it in the bag?
And you shake it in the bag. Yes. And then you eat that like fucking popcorn. Yes.
Oh, dude.
Absolutely.
That sounds good. I'm gonna have to try that.
Absolutely.
Look at Paul Mills. His mom did uncooked ramen noodles and coleslaw. That would give it a little crunch because I like some coleslaw.
Cook ramen and coleslaw. I mean,
You
I'm down with a
keister it.
coleslaw, but you can't like. I'm not a vinegary coleslaw kind of guy. I'm a more mayonnaise based coleslaw kind of
God,
guy.
we're polar
It needs to
opposites
have
there.
it needs to have a little bit of vinegar, but more mayonnaise than vinegar.
Do you like on your pasta salads? Do you like a creamy cold pasta salad, or do you like an oily? See, I'm an oil based pasta salad guy. I want it cold.
I'm a mix of both. It doesn't have to be creamy necessarily, but it can't be too over oily. Because if it's over oily, then all I'm tasting is the oil. Like I don't know if most of you know this. Like I used to work in a kitchen. I used to be a chef. I'm what's known as a super taster. So like anything salt or oil or anything that's overdone, I can taste it.
Oh, so you got a trained palate, so to speak.
Not necessarily a trained palate, but my palate knows what it likes and it doesn't like, in a sense. Like it knows when something's over salted, it knows when something's over oiled, when it knows when there's a balance and when there's not. Like I wouldn't consider it a trained palate in any sense. It just knows what it likes, is how I would say it.
Kyle's a super baster.
Or super baster. Animal style fries, I definitely know. I introduced Zach to animal style fries, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And also something called Cinnaholic, if you've never been. They have some in Los Angeles and also in Las Vegas.
Is it cinnamon something?
It is. So if you ever had Cinnabon, think of Cinnabon, but originally the company started out as a health conscious company. So they did like vegan cinnamon buns. But you could not tell the difference between these cinnamon buns and something that was completely terrible for you. Do I prefer truffle butter? Or do I like truffle butter? When it comes to truffle oil or truffle butter, I would say no, because most of the time it is synthetic. Some truffle oils I can stand, but it depends on the brand. But it's not really a real truffle flavor.
I agree with you there. Now, if mayonnaise is in tuna salad,
mayo is not a foul substance.
I could eat it in tuna salad, which is the main ingredient, right? I can't mix it
egg
up.
Salad sandwich, bro. Come on, egg salad.
Yep. I mean, it's got
potato
mayonnaise
salad.
But like, if I was going to have a hamburger or a cheeseburger and it had mayo on it, I would
in
not.
Moderation. In moderation. So, like, have you ever had a Thousand Island dressing?
I've had it on a Big Mac. Yes.
A Thousand Island dressing that has mayonnaise.
Right. But it's disguised, right? So for me, it's like it's disguised
in moderation.
Salad. But when you if I bite into a cheeseburger and it's got just a little layer of mayonnaise, it's got that sour taste. I mean, like the tuna and stuff overpowers it.
That depends on the mayonnaise. You're talking about the difference between like a normal, like best food mayonnaise or
a dressing.
No. So like there's like I don't want to go into the whole like mayonnaise, but like
you'll never
there's different types of mayonnaise.
Oh, there are. Well, I've noticed in the store, and the reason I said dressing is you can look at bottles look identical with that white horrible substance in them. One says mayonnaise and the other says salad dressing.
Yes.
But they're both mayonnaise, tasty, looky, nasty stuff.
Miracle Whip is an abomination. I'm sorry, Zach. Miracle Whip or mayo. Miracle Whip is not mayonnaise.
So is mayonnaise an egg based? What do you use to make a mayonnaise? What does it start
Mayonnaise is egg yolks and oil.
It doesn't sound gross like that. What gives it that sour, disgusting flavor?
That depends on the brand and what they decide to add as their secret ingredient to make it their own. So if you want to make a homemade mayonnaise, it's egg yolks and oil. That's all you need to make mayonnaise.
Kyle, that's making the back of my mouth water, like making my puke reflex go off. But you're a semen slurper, so it doesn't surprise me.
I'll drink cream cheese, mayonnaise, cottage cheese.
See, I love mayo in my tuna sandwich. And I'm also one who likes, in my tuna salad, I like to cut up dill pickles.
Ron Croy is also correct. Lemon, salt, also very common things in mayonnaise. But it also depends on the brand, Like that's what I'm saying. There's like best food mayonnaise. There's like I don't want to look up the mayonnaises, but
What's
there's
what's like your is Hellman's a good one? What's your like a
yeah,
brand?
Hellman's is one of them. Like I'd have to look it up. So like Hellman's is a big brand. Mayonnaise big brands. Like me personally, like I don't mind MSG. A lot of people don't like MSG. They have that whole stereotype when it comes to MSG. I like a good Japanese mayo, like QP mayo. It really depends on what you're trying to put it on, though. Otherwise, I prefer like a Hellman's, which doesn't have as much vinegar, doesn't have as much additives as most other things. It just depends on what you're into. Like Hellman's Dukes, like there's a few craft. It just depends on what you're into. Miracle Whip, I don't really view as a mayonnaise. It's more like a substitute for a mayonnaise, in my opinion.
Zach says, "What is Duke's?
Let me
Is
look
that
it
a
up.
li- is that a mayonnaise?"
Yes, it is a mayonnaise. So when it comes to mayonnaise, there's usually two major players in the American version. It's Hellman's or Duke's. And it depends on where you grew up, like what flavors you're into. But Hellman's and Duke's are like the two major brands when it comes to mayonnaise. And like when it comes to food stuff, that's kind of how it goes. It's like there's usually like 1, 2, 3 major players. And for the US, it's Hellman's and Duke's.
I've never had mayo and peanut butter, but those are two substances that by
Eggs
themselves I
Benedict's.
just don't like either.
Whatever that egg butter lemon shit is, it's called a hollandaise, and that is
Hollandaise
delicious.
sauce is good, and I know it's got the same ingredients in there.
No, hollandaise is egg yolks, butter, usually. So egg yolks, butter, the two main staples. That's what coagulates and or not coagulates, but like homogenizes and creates that sauce in general.
Sauce.
And then usually lemon juice, Tabasco sauce, and salt. Like
That
so
sounds
five ingredients total is what makes a completely basic hollandaise. So egg yolks, butter, salt, Tabasco, and a little bit of lemon juice just to brighten it up a little bit.
And do
that's
you
what
know
makes
just from doing it so much what parts to put, or would you have to look at a recipe? You could probably just go in the kitchen and make it if you had the ingredients, couldn't you?
So what I would say to you, if you ever go to make your own hollandaise sauce, is look up a recipe when it comes to the butter and egg ratio. Butter and egg ratio is the most key part of that factor. Everything else comes to taste. So the salt, Tabasco, and lemon juice you add, it depends on how vinegary you want. That would be the Tabasco. It depends on how salty you want it. That would be the salt. And it becomes how bright and floral and it's just hard to describe. So like it's usually a tiny bit of lemon juice, a tiny bit of Tabasco, like a little bit more than a pinch of salt, just to give it a little bit of extra umami-ness to it.
But the key is getting the consistency right.
It's the consistency. So it's taking your egg yolks and there's multiple methods of doing it. You can do it in a blender. You can do it in a double broiler, which is taking a pot of boiling water, putting in glass or any other type of like a normal, regular, like a metal bowl in there. Nothing with like an actual coating to keep it from not slipping.
Right.
So like either a glass bowl or a full metal bowl, not a non-slip bowl, and putting that over the boiling water, or taking it and putting it straight on a burner, but in a metal bowl, and making sure that your egg yolks are heated up properly before you add the melted butter into it. Because if you add the melted clarified butter, again, clarified, which means you separate out the milk like water.
Dude, that's like a process in itself, isn't it?
So making a hollandaise, which you can also make a bearnaise, which is where you add tarragon instead of the other stuff to it. You don't have to add lemon or Tabasco to it. You just add tarragon to it, which is great on steaks. Basically, the main component of that sauce is egg yolks and butter. the butter needs to be clarified. So if you have ghee butter or if you melt down butter, you don't want to add the very, like as you're pouring it, the last little bit of it is going to be basically like the water, the whey part of it. You don't want to add that part in. Like it could help like liquefy it more.
But for the sauce, you
It's
want
not
to stay away
necessary.
from that.
Yeah, but for the sauce, it's not technically necessary. When you work in a kitchen, you end up using the whole thing. Like you'll just put a pound of butter in there, and then you're using 4 to 8. It just depends on the size of your egg yolks. 4 to 8 egg yolks for 1 pound of butter. It just depends.
Interesting.
But
I
that's
didn't
like
know you
for
had
a
that
huge
background.
amount of hollandaise. You know what I mean? Like, so it all depends on how much hollandaise you decide on making.
Do you
You
like
don't like
cooking for?
hollandaise?
Do you like cooking for fun?
I mean, I love cooking. I just don't
Yeah.
like cleaning.
Yeah. Yeah. Clean. That's the part of it. Yeah, it is part of it.
Mhm.
The other half.
Yeah, basically what I tell people is like, hey, I don't have a problem cooking. I was a chef for 3 years. It's like I can use a lot of traditional French techniques. I can use a lot of like gastronomy techniques and do fucking crazy ass shit if you want me to. I am not cleaning up any of that bullshit.
Now, when I was in my last relationship, my significant other at the time loved to cook, and that was the deal. You cook and I'll clean. I mean, I
Click
had
on.
no problem with that. I mean, she could sit there and drink wine, and I would clean up after her just because it was so good.
Do I toast my Uncrustables? It depends on the mood I'm in. Zach. I don't know if you guys have ever had a toasted Uncrustable, but it's fucking amazing.
I've only had them cold or room temperature.
Next time you get an Uncrustable, put it in the toaster oven and toast
Just
it
to
up.
brown it.
Yeah, just to brown it, just a light toast, like on what you would normally toast normal white bread to like a very light toast. Put it in there for that. Don't go too dark with it because it tastes weird. Like you want a really light toast on an Uncrustable.
And that's another weird thing is heat and like peanut butter and jelly. I think that should be a dish served cold, but
no, it's still cold. Like so, you'll have like a melted peanut butter, which adds just like this like sauciness to it. But the jelly on the inside, because it's if you've ever had an Uncrustable, it's bread.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of
And
like
then it's peanut
pocketed
butter,
together.
and then inside of that is the jelly. So the jelly is still icy cold, but the peanut butter is melted, the bread is toasted, and it's still like a cold jelly. So it's just like a freaking crazy contrast of like hot, cold, and these textures. It's amazing. Personally, I mean, you can.
No,
judge me,
it
but
sounds
I'm okay with
delicious.
it.
I think my depleted mental condition when I was growing up and undiagnosed made me not be much of a recipe following cooking guy. I can do stuff like fried eggs. I can do basic stuff, but I could probably follow a recipe, but it would stress me out.
Chipotle aioli.
Did you see that? That looked pretty good. I just took it away.
Yeah, I was reading it. I was like, for a good chipotle aioli, all you really need is like literally canned chipotle peppers and some mayonnaise. Or even better than that is if you do a chipotle cream cheese and you put that on something. So all you do is you take the liquid from the chipotle peppers that come in the can and add that to your cream cheese, and then add a little bit of heavy whipping cream to it, and then put it in like a blender of some kind, or I mean, in the restaurant industry, we call it a Roboku, but it's basically like a food processor. So you put chipotle juice, sour cream, or not sour cream, cream cheese, and then some heavy cream, and put that into a food processor, and you make a flavored cream cheese out of it. It's actually fucking phenomenal. We used to do that on a what was it? A chipotle lamb Benedict, I believe. It was really good though.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love some good food. To me, it's just the product or the process of getting it ready, getting it made. I'll just go run,
The
get somebody to make me
process.
something because I'm a weak suck.
The process. So like when it comes to making crazy good food like you get in a restaurant, it's having the equipment to do it and then all the cleaning that comes with it. That's why
Which
I tell
makes
people it's like I can cook you a crazy fucking meal, but it's like I'm not gonna do the cleaning because you have to think about it. Like if I'm going to create something crazy, normally every little step has its own bowl
so it's
or
going to
its
be
own
dirty. Everything.
process to be dirtied. Yeah. Like the more complex a meal is, the more dishes that it normally entails. And it's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Like if it's a one pot wonder, like I'm not opposed to washing the dish, but it's like if you want something crazy and extravagant, like some sort of like crazy like what was the last thing I did for one of my roommates? It was a croque madame.
that sounds
So
like a crime.
a croque madame is like a French toast with ham, cheese, and then like a fried egg and hollandaise on it. So it's like, but every single thing. So like French toast batter comes with its own bowl, and then like hollandaise comes with its own bowl. Like the pan itself to grill everything, and then it's like you have to think about like grilling the ham beforehand. Grilling the French toast. So that's two pans unless you're using a dirty pan. So it's like it just stacks up over time. So
And
it's
if
like you
you've
want to make
got
a
an
crazy
atypical
big dish.
brain, you've got to time all that stuff.
Yeah, and it like
Scotch.
if you've ever been a chef, timing is essential and it takes a lot of know-how.
Scotch, we were talking about bourbon earlier, dude.
I mean, making restaurant, like going back to Donnie's
Devo
comment,
Stout V2. Is that the one that's already come out and right? I tested that one. I thought that was a good knife. I've never owned one, but I have reviewed one, and I like Devo knives. I used to have a full collection of Devo knives, but recently I've traded several of them. Just because I've gotten into different stuff. But yes, I think the Devo Stout V2 is a great knife. I like the Buzz better personally. The Buzz was my favorite. The Buzz or the Mash, not the Mash. The what's the little front flipper that looks like a traditional? The Lush.
going back to Bless's comment, making high-end restaurant food is, hold on, I gotta go up a little bit because now things have moved. Making high-end restaurant food is easy. It's not hard. It's not complicated. If
Can I
you know
pass
the
it?
techniques, it's not complicated at all. But yes, it is a lot of dishes. Like that's what it boils down to is the dishes. It's not something that's complicated in any
Well,
way,
that's what
shape, or
makes
form.
going out to eat, to me, a better value because you eat, you sit, and somebody else does all that. Granted, you're paying a premium for it.
Yeah, because there's a lot that goes into it. Like if you want something like coq au vin, a coq au vin is a chicken dish, which usually takes 24 to 48 hours to even brine in the first place. It takes a lot of time and effort to create that dish. It's not something that just happens. Like you can't
But
just go and say, "Hey, we're out of this dish. We want to go make it right now." Like no, it takes 24 to 48 hours to create that dish. Like
which
it's not a
makes it
quick
probably that much
process.
more desirable and that much better. I mean, it's got to have a value for soaking it that long or doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're creating a brine, which is a light brine because it's going for 24 to 48 hours. It's not something that's a quick brine. And it usually requires some sort of thyme, honey, and lemon juice of some kind. And it's sitting in that brine with salt, obviously, because that's what makes it a brine for 24 to 48 hours. And then after that process, you're taking all of that out. Then you're putting it in a pan, and then you're basting it in thyme, honey, and lemon juice. And that takes another couple hours to braise. And then after that, you're letting it sit So that way you can portion it out, and then like it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time and effort. Like it just depends on what you do with the dish.
I'd go with the chicky tenders and the Guthrie sauce too. That kind of, and that's got mayonnaise in it. My favorite chicken sauce has got mayonnaise snuck into it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with mayonnaise. I don't.
Again, I like it if it's disguised, and I'm sure it's a very integral part of a lot of my favorite foods. I just can't get past the thought of it as its own condiment. I'm prejudiced against that one condiment.
Birria is not like, to make a real birria is not a quick process. It's not a quick process.
What is birria?
Birria?
Birria.
So birria is like, in a sense, it should be a braised meat. Usually, technically, I think it's supposed to be, oh my God, why is this thing going crazy? I think it's a lamb, technically, but most people do a beef birria.
Authentic Mexican birria.
Yeah, I think it's technically done. Oh, with goat or lamb, yes. But most people do it with beef. It requires lots of different spices.
What's the emoji for hard pass? I'm totally off that. I don't do lamb, even though I'm sure it's delicious. I don't do stomachs, and I don't want goats. I want to play with goats.
Lamb and goat, when you stew it properly for, like, I think it's usually like a very long time. Like, I can't, like, traditionally off the top of my head, I can't remember what it is, but it's usually stewed for a very long time where it just falls apart. It's literally shredded at that point.
I'm sure it's delicious. I mean, I'm sure if you don't know what you're eating, like for me, if I knew I was eating lamb, my psyche would build up this kind of dread, even though it was probably prepared fantastically.
I'm down with cheek lamb, like tongue in cheek. Are you talking about beef tongue in cheek though, Donnie? Because I'm down with beef tongue in cheek. I don't know about anything else. Because
it doesn't have to bend over. If it's one of those little goats, I can just sneak up behind it, asshole. And I'll name it Kyle. Come here, Kyle. Kyle.
So when you think of birria, think about like a Mexican version of barbecue. So barbecue, you're usually going for 10, 12, 14, 16 hours. Same thing with birria. Birria, you're doing for a long ass fucking time.
And they talk about one way to do it is in a crock pot for a really long time. Here's a picture of it. Or you tell me if this looks like the birria you're thinking of.
I mean, you can do it in a crock pot, but
well, that's just one way. You can do it.
It is one way of doing it. You can do it in a
stovetop, instant pot, or slow cooker. Or the possibilities are endless. Does that look like it though? Or does that look too soon?
That's birria. Yes, that's what birria looks like. It is like a shredded beef that's marinated in like a chili, spicy, with
Mexican
like
cinnamon,
a limey. Yeah, it's like, think of, I don't know how to put this for most people, but like think about like a mole in a sense, but not necessarily a mole, because mole consists of chocolate and other things. But yes, it's basically like a very long stewed meat in a chili sauce that is just fall apart and utterly delicious.
You can serve it as stew or as taco.
Donnie says he browns it and sous vide it, which is, I agree with that. That is a good way to go. Okay.
You guys' palates are way more advanced than mine.
So wait, Donnie, you brown it and then sous vide it, and you don't reverse do it, like reverse sear it? I guess it makes sense to do it that way, because if you sous vide it with everything, it makes more sense. Because then otherwise you still have to stew it afterwards if you reverse seared it.
Y'all are making me hungry. We can't talk about food.
Dude,
I've got a long time till Hardee's opens. It's 5:00.
Dude, they're just putting a Carl's Jr. back in here right now, and I don't even know how long it's been. I'm glad I don't have to drive up to Reno to get like Carl's Jr.
The only thing I'll eat from there are their breakfasts, and I really do like their breakfast.
I have always been a fan of the Western burger.
That's a good burger.
Western.
So much of it
Western.
is
That's all.
who makes it.
all I
So
eat.
the Hardee's closest to me is hit or miss. Like their breakfast cook is pretty good when he's on time. I've gone down there when they open, and the guys come to the window and said, "Oh, Billy ain't come in yet this morning." Fuck.
There's one thing I miss about California. The Carl's Jr. because we don't have Hardee's. We have Carl's Jr. for those who don't know. West
Same
Coast,
thing,
we have
pretty much.
Carl's Jr. Hardee's is the same thing. That's the East Coast version. But when I used to go to the Carl's Jr. closest to where I lived in California, like the guy who used to work there was just so bright and happy. Like you knew as soon as you went in that you were getting a good meal. It was fucking, and it was just the person taking your order at the drive-through.
That makes
like,
a difference.
Well, you knew because like if you know anything about fast food, if you know anything about the restaurant industry, the people who work shifts work the same shifts usually together. So if that person's taking your order, the same people are usually cooking your food.
And
I
I
don't know
think
if
a
you
lot
know
of
this
it
or
is
not.
well, I think a lot of it too, because I remember there was an Arby's in Huntsville when I was a kid that's still there, but it used to win all these awards
Mhm.
for being the best, like in the state. And then it kind of went downhill.
Yeah.
And it was this one manager. And I think so much is how tightly you run the ship. And it is the people that are on those stations. But I think if you've got people that want to be there, that want frosted mini wheats for me is the only way to fly when it comes to cereal. That or Count Chocula.
What was that Carl's Jr. commercial where that girl is in like a bikini?
Oh, that's
what
how
I
they
got.
all used to be. Hold on, let me pull it up.
I was reading Zach's comment. He's like, he got hooked on the Carl's Jr. Western with the dripping barbecue sauce, and all I can think about is like, I think it was Carmen Electra, the first one. Carmen Electra,
Yeah,
eating it on the fucking the hood of a car, just like fucking dripping all over her face. Absolutely. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that one at all. But yeah,
I always found her
I don't know.
very
Like when it comes down to it, so it's like I don't consider myself a foodie by any means. Like I worked in the kitchens for 3 years. Like I was a chef for 3 years. I prefer foods that have, like a good solid flavor, like well integrated, like you're getting all aspects of flavor, like your umami, like I gotta look at the 5 flavors now. Like I'm gonna get them all wrong if I don't look this up. Sweet, salty, umami,
bitter.
sour. 5 flavors of cookie. Hold on. There we go. So sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. Yes, all of those things. So I prefer a well-balanced food. And the Western bacon cheeseburger does that, but it also adds an extra element, which is texture with the grilled onions. And that's just me personally. Carl's Jr. has had other burgers. Recently, Jack in the Box has had other burgers. I can't remember what the most recent Jack in the Box burger was. It was about from a year ago, but they had a fucking amazing burger. And I'm not a big Jack in the Box fan, but they had
Jack in the Box makes good tots.
They had an amazing fucking burger recently.
You know that I can't find. What's this one?
I gotta figure out what it was now. Jack in the Box menu.
Taco Bell has new chicken nuggets. They look dynamite, by the way.
It was one of their crispy chicken sandwiches. I just can't remember what the fuck it was though. But it was fucking amazing.
Kyle, I like Smurf berries because I used to like the Captain Crunch. My mom would buy it and she would get so pissed because I would eat all the little fruity ones out and just leave the little corn husky looking ones. Hated them.
Yeah, I mean, waffle crisp. Waffle crisp is something I enjoyed.
What I used to like, and still do. Do Burger King? Do they still have the chicken fries? When they had the chicken fries, I used to like
I don't
those.
think they have it anymore. Waffle
Zach's got to grab
crisp.
some cereal.
I didn't really like waffle crisp. I don't believe.
Little frosted mini wheats is my favorite. I don't know
Nesquik I
why.
enjoyed. Nesquik I thoroughly enjoyed for like something you could just quickly make. Nesquik was bomb. Zach, be right back. Gotta grab a bowl of cereal. Dude, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Like, you can't go wrong with Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Captain Crunch berries. Captain Crunch is good. It tears up the roof of your mouth like all hell.
Oh, crunches it. Yeah.
Adding crunch berries like adds that extra little bit of just.
I'll tell you another winner is I like Count Chocolate, but I'm trying to think what that one was. Cocoa Pebbles that would make the chocolatey milk. The ones that Cocoa Crisp or Cocoa Pebbles, they were kind of the same. They were just made by different.
Mm-hmm.
Those
They
were
also
those
had
little
Cocoa
flat
Puffs,
ones.
too. Yeah.
My favorite
Cocoa Pebbles were like Fruity Pebbles, but just the cocoa version.
chocolate. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And remember
I'm down
Count
with
Chocolate?
that for sure. Count Chocolate, I'm down with.
I was down with it. Those little marshmallows.
Count Chocula was basically like chocolate Lucky Charms.
If you like shitty marshmallows in your cereal, go burn in hell. I will chase you around there while I'm engulfed in flames. This is what it's going to be like when I.
I don't know.
I didn't
If
like
you've ever
Lucky
had
Charms.
Lucky Charms made an all marshmallow cereal.
I love those little marshmallows, whether it was in the ones in Lucky Charms, and even though they all tasted identical, the little green clovers.
It's just a marshmallow. Yeah.
Yeah, but the green clover, the commercial made you think that was what you wanted.
Yeah, that it tasted
And
special.
The green
It's
clover. And the green clovers. Are they still make all those cereals? I still see stuff. My dad, I take him to the store to shop, and we go down the cereal aisle quite a bit. And he'll sit there and just look and always end up with Raisin Bran Crunch. He's got
Raisin Bran Crunch is a solid cereal. I don't like raisins.
Solid.
I don't like raisins. I am not a fan of raisins. Raisin Bran Crunch is an amazing cereal.
It is.
I'm partial to Honey Bunches of Oats. Just saying, because for me, again, it's a texture thing. Like the things that have soaked in milk, like those corn flakes that have soaked in milk, you get a little sogginess, and then you get the crunchiness from the oat clusters. So definitely a fan of some Honey Bunches of Oats. It's always been a favorite.
Here you go. This is what I remember.
I hate cereal with marshmallows. The texture makes me physically cringe when I eat it.
Interesting. I'm the super sweet monster with the super sweet new cereal, Count Chocula.
Biffle, here's the super sweet new cereal, Frankenberry.
But I've got chocolate sweeties for monstrous chocolate flavor.
Well, I got berry-flavored sweeties for monster strawberry.
I was not a fan of the fruity ones.
No.
I was never a fan. Donnie, what consistency of them was whack? I'm confused. I'm a huge texture person as well. Like, I do not like chewy foods.
I can do chewy. I don't like
chewy.
Sneaky feeling foods.
Like, I'll put it this way. My two favorite donuts are a Boston cream pie and a bacon maple glazed donut.
Zach, that's still my favorite of the frosted little mini wheats.
Frosted mini wheats is a good overall cereal.
They're just they work well with milk.
I agree with that. For a healthy, like you have to look at it. It's like it's a healthier cereal, but at the same time, it's like taste wise, it is a good cereal.
Yeah, it is. It is,
Frosted
and they've got several.
I will second that.
I'll tell you what's nasty, but it looks good on the box. Are the frosted mini wheat cinnamon roll? Don't
So-
go there. Those things are too sweet.
So
Apple fritters do rule.
Donnie says I'm huge on texture, like on the spectrum. Consistency of them was whack. So anything with marshmallows and cereal is whack.
Yeah, dry marshmallows. It looked like fingers on a chalkboard. A lot of people had that comment. But see, I love those little dried, crunchy things.
I don't know, because like I've had Lucky Charms that have been open for like weeks, and yeah, Lucky Charms that have been open for weeks are gross. But like when you get a fresh bag of Lucky Charms or something, Count Chocula, that's a fresh bag of cereal. I'm sorry, nothing beats it.
This is a love it or hate it right here. But this was one of my faves.
Donnie won't eat sharp foods like chips or greens because they squeak. Interesting.
With so much energy that, well, watch these bullies
Ooh,
find out the hard way.
I dig apple
Look at
chips.
the tadpole.
Where's your water wing? Might get wet.
Hey, Sonny, you better load up with Kellogg's Apple
He's about to get those Apple Jacks, and those bullies are going to learn a lesson.
Jacks.
Apple Jacks are bomb. I
Kellogg's
prefer Apple Jacks to Fruit Loops.
Oh, I do too. And I remember this commercial. Check this out.
Jacks
I prefer Apple Jacks to Fruit
for
Loops.
breakfast or snacks. Cinnamon toast, the apple
That Apple's a good tap dancer too.
tasty,
Apple Jacks are bomb.
and a bowl a day keeps the bullies away.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Kyle, you ass off the
That's why you want to eat your Apple Jacks. You can fend off bullies. Lucky Charms are not me either. Now, the marshmallows in them, for people who don't like marshmallows, I can understand, but I like the marshmallows in the Lucky Charms. But the cereal itself was no good.
I didn't mind. So like let me go back and preface this. If you eat Lucky Charms as a full scoop of a spoon in one like bite, it was amazing.
Because it
If
mixes.
you just got a full spoon of nothing but marshmallows, not a fan.
Same
You
with
had to
cereal.
have the actual cereal part, not just the marshmallows. Eggs that like the taste of a lot of fruit but can't stand eating them. Are you talking about Apple Jacks? Wait,
I love some Apple Jacks. I can definitely go on
Zach,
some
taste
Apple
the
Jacks.
rainbow. Are we talking about Skittles now? Taste the rainbow.
Hard Trust Company founded on. That went over my shallow head, but I believe you.
Yeah, I have no idea what he's going with that one.
I get into these loops where I eat the same thing like a couple of weeks at a time. I'll just go through and be on a.
I'm with
kind of
you on
vanilla
all
cake.
that. I'm with you on all of that, Bless. I do not like eating those things as is.
Those
Like
things.
I'll eat a banana before I'll eat apples and all that. And granted, bananas are mushy, especially if you're eating a ripe banana. A ripe banana means that it has spots on it. For those,
Bless times. What do you think about mushrooms? Can you eat those?
I'm not a mushroom fan. I'm very picky and selective when it comes to mushrooms.
I'm not a huge mushroom on food fan.
I'm very picky when it comes to mushrooms.
We
Like,
used to
mushroom
saute
has to
them.
be done properly for me to eat them. Usually it's because I'm cooking them.
Right. And you use them as a topper on a steak or something like that, or
Yeah, either a topping on a steak or added to like a stir fry of some kind, or sometimes occasionally in some sort of like Italian pasta of some kind. But it has to be done like very, very thinly sliced, sauteed properly, so it has some sort of texture to it.
1931. That's fascinating.
Eggs, yes, but I slice my bananas. I mean, I'm not mad at you. Slice bananas. I'm not mad at that. I'm a thinly sliced banana guy. If I do slice my bananas, like I'm thinly sliced. I do not like thick sliced bananas.
Yes.
I'm very picky when it comes to textures. So like, I don't know. Like most of you don't know, like canine to canine is all false teeth. I have a ton of other false teeth.
I'm getting ready to get a
Crowns,
whole.
veneers, or bridges of some kind. Like for me, textures are something that I don't like chewy foods. Chewy foods to me, like I get that like weird, like I don't even know how to describe it. It's just
Almost
like
feels like you got a sweater on your teeth afterwards or something.
it's like chewing rubber. Like I don't like chewy foods. Like I don't
Even
like.
like gummy bears, stuff like that. It's just a no go.
So I'll put it this way. So earlier, Costco has this like pre-made bacon mac and cheese. Okay. So like bacon that has not been crisped up first properly, if you put it in something, it becomes very chewy. I do not like chewy bacon. Not a fan. I like
crispy bacon.
I like crisp bacon. Like I do not like chewy foods. Chewy foods like give me this like weird ick. Like I'm just like, why am I eating this? Ooh,
just
pan seared spam. Pan seared, a nice seared spam. Unbeatable.
Spam. I used to love spam. I've not had it in a very long time.
Pan seared, fried, same thing. But basically, like a nice sear on each side. Cannot beat spam that has been fried or seared in some way, shape, or form. That is delectable.
Yeah, I was I just run through stages. It's weird. I'll go through stages. There's a barbecue place down called Ted's. This local place, and I'll go eat there for like a week and a half, like every day, and then I'll go to this little Mexican deli that has these killer quesadillas, and I'll do that for like a week, and then I'll get in these little cycles where I'm not going to get something different every day.
I mean,
think
you
it's
have to
early
switch it up.
dementia.
You have to switch it up. You can't eat the same thing every day.
You got to switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Same
for
thing
me.
with
It's
like Donnie right here. I like food I don't have to chew. I love mashed potatoes, but a mashed potato has to be done properly. There has to be the right amount of butter. There has to be the right amount of cream or milk of some kind, and there has to be. It can't always be plain. Like butter, cream, or milk, whichever you prefer. Salt, pepper are must have.
I think
But
they're
adding,
talking
like,
slice.
garlic, other things like, yes, a mashed potato, down with.
Yeah, I love a
Sliced
twice
or
baked
cubed
potato.
spam. Sliced or
Twice baked
cubed.
potato.
Twice baked potato I'm down with too, because that adds texture and you have the skin. And if
The
you
skin is so good. I mean,
if
I'll
you
get
bake
down
it
to
properly, the skin can be amazing. And skin is one of the most healthy things you can eat for you.
Paul,
The
that's me
skin
too,
is the best
buddy.
part of the potato.
I think you and I have similar living habits.
Yeah. And when it comes to sliced or cubed spam, it doesn't matter. If you are searing it, which is pan frying it, or frying it in some sort of oil, which it doesn't really need, let's be honest, because spam is a very fatty meat. It doesn't matter if it's cubed or sliced, but I prefer sliced if we're really getting down to
I
it.
used to like fried bologna in college.
Fried bologna is bomb too. It's the same thing. It's the same concept.
Yeah, I just for some
Fried
reason
bologna.
spam always I ate it, but it's one of those things I didn't really know. I don't know what bologna is. I don't want to know, but spam was even more mysterious. I always thought it might be looking back at me.
Some of those East Coast people, I like a good fried pork roll too. A good pork roll.
Is that like an egg roll?
A pork roll? No.
Mhm.
Think about how do I put this? Think about like a spam and bologna on crack. That's
Is
a
it?
pork roll.
But what's the roll part of it? Is it all just rolled up?
So it's pork, but it's like, hold on, I'll send it to you. Pork roll.
Share it. I'll pull it up if you see one.
Oh, if I could fucking type.
I love sushi
Pork roll.
too. But I like sushi with a little
It's
feet
it's
on
a
it.
processed meat.
Okay. Richard, have a good morning, buddy. That's my goal. Is to be
It's also
getting
known as Taylor ham, but it's amazing.
Taylor ham.
Mm-hmm.
Are you showing it?
No, I'm not showing it. I mean, I could show it here. Hold on.
Share it, and I'll pop it up there real quick just to
Percent.
take a peek at it.
Screen share. This one. Share. Taylor ham. The original Taylor pork roll.
Oh,
It's in
so
New
it's kind of
Jersey.
like a.
It's a New Jersey thing, but a lot of East Coast people know what a pork roll is.
Kind of like a hot dog in a different kind of way.
It is. It's like a mixture of Spam and ham, and I just don't even know how to describe it. It's just like a fatty, delicious, and like here I'll go back a little bit. Like you have to cut it. If you do not cut it in this fashion, it just curls up. You have to cut it in
To
this
let
way
the pressure go
specifically.
off. That looks like fried
Yeah.
bologna. Yeah, oh man, that
Yeah,
does look good.
it's like a bologna, Spam, and like just like a deli ham mixed in one, and it's called a pork roll.
I wonder why they
it's
don't sell that
amazing.
stuff like down here.
I don't know.
Seems
It's
like they
amazing.
dig it.
Though. If you've never had a pork roll, highly suggest.
Never have had a pork roll.
Highly suggest if you've never had one. And
It's
you
like
have to
bologna meat,
you have to
but
fry it
entirely
just
made
like
out
you
of
would do
pork.
bologna or Spam. You have to fry it in a pan.
Now,
Unbeatable.
Crispy Critter, this is going to gross most of y'all out with the things that I say I like and I don't like. But as a kid growing up, my grandparents were German, and I ate a lot of liverwurst with a little mustard on it on bread. Do y'all know what liverwurst is?
Liverwurst?
Liverwurst.
I've had liver and onions, but
It's like a little it looks like spread cheese, but it's not. Oscar Mayer. Let me find this shit. Liverwurst.
I like how today we're getting into full food mode.
Yeah, you might have seen this stuff. This is the Underwood. This is the brand that I used to see as a kid. But you just basically it's like a spreadable
Liverwurst.
Yeah, have you ever had that?
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff, man. I mean, for all the stuff that I hate and won't eat, I used to eat this just like that on little pieces of bread my grandmother would make.
Personally, I need to fry liver. I need that caramelized texture and flavor to it.
There was this
Otherwise,
other stuff
it's too irony for me personally. But like a good pate, which is also made from liver, you can make it from any liver.
Paul, I'm the same way. Liver grosses me out. But as a kid, that liverwurst was just good stuff because I didn't put it together with what it was that I was eating.
It's a pate.
Yeah.
It's a liver pate. So those of you who don't know what a liver pate is you pan fry or sear off or roast basically in a pot liver, and you add cream to it, and then you blend it. That's what a liver pate is. So, yeah, adding cream to a liver reduces that irony taste to it.
Here's some Braunschweiger.
I don't know. I can't remember actually having liverwurst though.
The one I got was Oscar Mayer. I'll pull it up, and that's the one you can see at any grocery store.
I'm down with a liver pate though. Like an actual pate is amazing.
Yeah, it comes in a little roll like that. Here's the Oscar Mayer right there. But this is the Braunschweiger. But this is the kind of Oscar Mayer liverwurst my grandmother used to get.
Personally, I'd probably still pan fry it because I like the caramelized texture. I like
that. And I think it probably would be good if heated up. We just never did. She would cut it in through the pack, cut it in little slivers, and then spread it. and she put some stuff in there. I don't remember what she put in there for flavor, but I know she put like this German mustard on top of it. It's good stuff, man. Kyle Coonley
Yeah, there
shared
you go.
something.
Go to Donnie's comment.
All right, let me
Right
go to
underneath
Donnie's
that one.
comment. And then this one right there.
Yeah. So he said it's so good on club crackers, but frying helps with the strong flavor when cold. That's my issue when it comes to liver, is that strong irony flavor. If you can dumb it down or dull it down in any way, shape, or form, and frying usually helps that because it adds a caramelized, like that caramelness to it, that burnt deliciousness to it, the Maillard reaction for those who are into food.
Kyle, where would this place be if one was going to?
Beautiful.
Kyle says this food truck is where it's at. If I can zoom on that.
Kentucky? I just see a derby happening in the background.
Let's see where's Dayton, Ohio. I bet it's
Dayton,
Ohio. Hot dog joint. Yep. Dayton, Ohio. Oh. Are you seeing that? Dude, they just ruined it there.
What was that gigantic spoonful that they put on before? That was a
Mashed
mayonnaise?
potatoes.
Okay.
This has got.
Dude, I'm down with that, actually.
That's the poultry, guys. It's mashed potatoes, turkey stuffing, and cranberry sauce.
I'm down with that.
But look at these, man. I mean, these things, Kyle, you're on to something, dude. That's got Fritos on it. That's got taco dip, Fritos, and sour cream. Hold the sour cream, please.
Those of you who have a Firehouse Subs or a Capriotti's,
I've got a Firehouse.
I highly suggest you try next Thanksgiving. You try their Thanksgiving sub.
Firehouses?
Firehouse or Capriotti's, depending on where you are. Capriotti's, I don't think, goes east of the Mississippi. Firehouse, I believe, goes east of the Mississippi. But
man, these dogs, dude, look at that.
But yeah, it's the same thing. It's like it's turkey stuffing, no mashed potatoes, so turkey stuffing and usually cranberry sauce, but on a sub. Amazing, and they're usually open during Thanksgiving, so it makes for a great Thanksgiving meal. Just an FYI, in case you don't want to do a Thanksgiving dinner yourself.
What is that? See the dog, man. Those look good. Zombie dogs. Kyle, that looks like a good call, buddy.
I'm down with a good hot dog.
Yeah, I am too.
I'm down
We
with
used
a
to
good hot
make
dog.
it, and this would gross you out because you don't like too much salt, but we used to make Dale's dogs in college. We'd cut them open, put a little Dale's steak sauce on them, that juicy, salty stuff, and then we put them on the grill, and then we put Louisiana hot sauce and cheddar cheese on them.
I'm very salt sensitive.
Night, Ron Crow. Have a good night, buddy.
Beef, cheddar, and Polish varieties.
What's up, Ouchie?
From Dale's Corner Store?
No. Dale's. Let me show you. Let me go to Amazon.
You have to show me because I'm trying to Google it. And I don't.
It's a marinade. It's this right here. I just happened to be on. They've even got a low sodium version. Happened to be on Amazon.
I'm just very salt sensitive.
It's more of a marinade, but it's very, very salty. These are the bottles, what it looks like in the store.
I mean, a marinade's supposed to be salty, so I'm not opposed to that in any way, shape, or form. It's more of the final flavor.
And they have a low sodium. It's different. I think it's more of a Southern thing, but I could be wrong. I just know that those dogs were salty, but they were damn good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to try one. All I know is I'm very salt sensitive.
I used to be very, very salt sensitive. Like I used to retain tons of weight when I would eat like water. Like I would get puffy when I would eat salt. I've gotten over that now.
Yeah. I mean,
it's stick in my system.
There are many ethnicities that prefer more salt. There are many people that prefer more salt. I'm
Bless,
not.
who y'all stalking? Crispy, we used to I lived with an ex-fiance in where Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina all touch on the Chattooga River. Literally, we were in a cabin on the Chattooga River. That's where they filmed Deliverance. And we used to fish for our food. It was a stocked river, the Chattooga was, and I'd wade out there with salmon eggs and catch these little trout, these little rainbow trout. And we just simply gut them and wrap them in a little bit of butter, lemon pepper, and aluminum foil and put them on a little grill we had. Dude, they were so good. I guess because we were starving to death up there. Dude, beer batter burgers. That sounds.
I don't know.
Ooh, check that out.
I don't know what
Eggs.
Donnie's. We also have a local winery that does seasonal brick oven gourmet pizzas. Brick oven pizza is superior.
With mashed potatoes.
Personal opinion. I love, like, okay, I might be somewhat biased because my dad's side of the family is from Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is famous for Brooklyn brick oven pizzas. But I definitely prefer a brick oven pizza. They do Oktoberfest one with mashed potatoes, sauerkraut, sausage. Ooh, that sounds actually good.
Yeah, I'm
not a big sausage person, but when you mix sausage and sauerkraut, there's something about it that just can't be beat.
The flavors go together.
It's amazing.
Sauerkraut's another substance that I had a aversion to when I was a kid. I got traumatized.
Sauerkraut is something that you have to do in moderation as well. Like some people can handle a lot, other people can only handle a tiny bit. And it comes with everything. Like some people can't handle grilled onions, some people can't handle all kinds of things. Like it's just one of those things. If you do it in moderation and you do a tiny bit, and then you can kind of like me personally, I grew up in New Mexico. For those who don't know, like I grew up in Alamogordo, Las Cruces, New Mexico, and my dad now lives in Albuquerque. So I grew up on Hatch green chilies. I love green chilies on fucking.
Well, that doesn't sound like you would have crossed sauerkraut there.
No. It has nothing to do with sauerkraut. It has to do with like people's tastes. Like some people like certain things, but maybe some people like excess. Some people like a little bit. Like me personally, like when it comes to green chilies, especially like a Hatch green chili, fucking love it. I love Hatch green chilies. I grew up with that shit growing in my backyard. So love Hatch green chilies. And they grow
the only thing I remember sauerkraut
Colorado
from was a
sometimes
Reuben.
Texas.
And it was
I'm not a fan of Reubens. Like
it's
I
corned beef,
like
right?
It's
It's
corned
weird
beef.
meat.
It's corned beef. It's not Thousand Islands. What's the other one?
I thought it was just
New
corned
York,
beef and sauerkraut.
New York dressing. It's something else. No,
Hey, look, hold on. I thought it was
it's
just
sour.
beef.
No,
Reuben.
it has some sort of
Reuben.
dressing on it. Reuben sandwich. Reuben sandwich is a corned beef, Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, rye, Russian dressing. That's the one I'm thinking about. Russian dressing or Thousand Island, but most people use a Russian dressing. Like if you go to a traditional like Jewish deli, they're going to use a Russian dressing and not a Thousand Island, which is similar to a Thousand Island, but it doesn't contain the pickles.
It looks good. It's just, again, the sauerkraut for me. What is kraut? Is it just like a plant, like something that they just pickle?
Sauerkraut, I believe it's a root.
A root?
Yeah, it's like a root vegetable. And like I don't know everything. So sauerkraut. Finely cut raw cabbage that has been fermented in various lactic and acidic bacteria. So it's just
no
a raw
wonder I don't
cabbage.
like it. It's a living culture. Kind of like yogurt. One of those weird things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know everything about everything, even though I've worked in the kitchen. Like it's You learn
You know what
things
to
every
grab
single
out of
day.
the pantry to make shit happen, though. That's the
Yeah, I mean, you learn what flavors you do and do not like. You know what flavors work and don't work together, kind of thing. But do you know what everything is and everything? No, you don't.
no. I think it's just German
Out to
kimchi.
EDC, it's basically a German kimchi. Yes. After reading that definition, it's German kimchi because sauerkraut is more of a German thing. From what I
Pickle
understand.
adverse, but it's just the sauerkraut. I like pickled okra. I don't like olives too much either.
I'm not an olive fan either, but like if you like dice olives very finely, I'm okay with olives.
Green ones I can handle finely
Mm.
sliced, like on pizza. I don't like black olives at all.
I
But
can
what I
handle
really
black olives on pizza. It just depends on how many there are on pizza.
and that's another texture thing for me. I think this is more the texture than the sweet taste.
That gives you that weird styrofoamy, like
Yeah.
biting into styrofoam. Like I understand that people when it comes to olives have that styrofoamy thing. For me, when you cook them, I don't really get that as much. If it's like a raw olive, absolutely. I don't like that styrofoamy. Like a 7-layer dip is an exception to that, and it has to be, like I said, diced very, 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 very fine.
Kyle, my ex would eat just a jar of them. I mean, that to me, that literally my gag reflex is going off. I'm like fighting back puke.
Mm-mm. I can't do like sliced olives in a can. That gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Anything a Nana makes, they can make good. I mean, I never met your Nana, but I bet you it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was going to say. One of my favorite pickled things are banana peppers or pepperoncinis. I think those are different peppers actually, and I prefer the pepperoncinis. I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Pepperoncinis?
Yeah, they're about that long.
Yeah.
Little like thin.
Well, the little
skin
green ones that have been pickled.
Yes, that are on salads and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if y'all know this, but people that do have In-N-Out, you can ask for chopped chilies on anything. Just a thought.
Man, we don't have it In-N-Out.
Yeah.
I've never eaten an In-N-Out. How far west or east do they go? Let me look.
Do I bake or bake sweets? I do not bake. I am not that. So when it comes to cooking versus baking, baking requires precise measurements. I am not a precise measurement kind of guy. I prefer like taste and feel versus like you have to have this exact amount of this in order to make this properly.
No results found.
I don't know how far. Sorry, I kind of got sidetracked. And oops.
It makes me put in a zip code
No, in and out.
if Nashville has one.
Location east.
Utah, no, they're none anywhere close to me. I was seeing if maybe Nashville, Tennessee, Flagstaff.
They're trying to expand to the East Coast right now.
I would think they would kill it.
So California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Texas, Oregon, Colorado, and Idaho is currently where In-N-Outs are based.
History. How long have they been around? 1948.
But yeah,
Oh,
if you do happen to live in any one of those states, or you happen to come and visit one of those states, my suggestion to you is you get any of their burgers animal style, which means it'll be a mustard fried patty. It'll come with sauce, grilled onions, and pickles. Get rid of the pickles because the sauce already has pickles in it. It's Thousand Island. So that's mayonnaise, mustard, ketchup, and relish, which is pickles.
That's their
Get rid of the
sauce.
pickles and add chopped chilies. So you're getting a spicy version of a pickled pepper.
Yum, dude, that sounds so good.
And
God,
animal fries. Animal fries are fries, cheese, the sauce, which is Thousand Island, and grilled onions. You're welcome.
Damn.
Also, a Neapolitan shake, which is a chocolate vanilla strawberry shake.
I used to love Neapolitan ice cream, but I would always leave the strawberry in there. I would eat it vertically. So I'd eat the chocolate and the vanilla.
I'm not a strawberry person, but a Neapolitan shake.
It blends good.
Something about it is just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree with that. That strawberry, when it's blended in a shake, it's good.
Hold on. Before we get any further into this, Zach, what are your thoughts on the animal style fries? Mr. Zach Stuff. The last time we went to In-N-Out, I tried telling him constantly in the drive-thru he needs to get animal style fries, at least animal style fries. Then he got a regular fry.
Did you get animal style and make him wish?
Oh, I got animal. Yeah, absolutely. So before we go too far into the story, Zach, your take on animal style fries. I already know the answer with Zach.
He tried eggs and he was happy that you tried them.
Exactly.
And then sadly ate your plain fries.
Yeah.
I like a good plain fry. Now I do like where is it that has the tots that have the covered tots? Sonic?
Chili cheese fries or chili cheese tots? That's Sonic for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Chili cheese tots is Sonic.
Yeah, I like those guys.
Absolutely good. There are very few things that I enjoy from Sonic. Chili cheese dog, chili cheese tots from Sonic. Absolutely. I'm not a big Sonic person, but they do have rare occasional food. The one that's closest to me, they actually closed down, so I have to drive a little bit further now to go.
I can remember when they first opened and the food was so good. I mean,
Mhm.
again, it's how they run it, and it was just it was run so good. The burgers had just a little bit of crispy on them on the outside. They weren't ever soft and soggy. They were just good.
Their burgers, even to this day, are fairly decent. The downfall with Sonic is they are more franchise based. So it varies city to city or county to county or whatever it may be. Like if you only have one Sonic, like it varies because the owner of that Sonic is in charge of how well that Sonic does. So like coming from Southern California, there was only like 2 Sonics close to me. One was up in Valencia, which was by Six Flags. The other one was down by Knott's Berry Farm. The one, I can't remember which one it was, but one of them was terrible. The other one's fantastic. And it just comes down to the ownership. And that's unfortunately the way it goes with Sonics is like, you're basically, it's like a Subway. You're buying the name of the company. It's how that person who owns that establishment decides to run it, unfortunately. So Sonics are very hit and miss. So if you find a good Sonic, be very happy that you found a good Sonic.
We've got Checkers and Rallies. I'm trying to look at the Rallies fries.
I've had Rallies. I've not had Checkers in a long time. I think I've had Checkers once or twice in my life. Checkers was good from what I remember, but
oh yeah, those
in California we had a Rallies and it was fairly good. And it's also along the same lines as a Sonic. It's from what I remember, it's very franchisey. So it's like one of those things where it can be hit or miss. But
they are.
You
y'all have Five Guys and fries out there?
Oh, yeah, we have Five Guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I love some Five Guys. Some Five
Guys. You like Five Guys?
Get that out. Could not get it out. Yeah, Rally's fries look like those seasoned fries.
Yeah.
I used to like those Arby's curly fries. They had that same kind of
Arby's curly fries are still like, I don't know. The Arby's here is still
Brand New American. Decent. What's up, buddy?
So, and that's another thing. Arby's is also franchised. It's one of those things where it's hit or miss.
Like I said, we had the best Arby's. It was weird is back in the day, this would have been the late 70s, early 80s. The manager, there was always a red Corvette parked out there and you knew he was there and it was a company Corvette. So like the person that was the top manager of whatever region would drive that Corvette. Mm-hmm. And then they moved him to another store and it went downhill, man.
Yeah.
And it seems to me like it'd be so hard to fuck that up.
They do though.
Oh, I know.
Unfortunately, they do.
I know.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's like those big name brands, like they're more focused nowadays on franchising than they are on like
Customer
committing,
experience.
more like committing themselves to quality, not even customer experience. Like customer experience is definitely a factor, but it's like company quality. You know what I mean? Like things that you grew up with, that you are known for, that hold a nostalgic place in your heart, just don't always exist anymore. And if you do find one that does, like, it's one of those things where you just have to feel grateful. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I have this and it reminds me of my childhood, you know?
Absolutely. And it's still got the same quality consistency, which is rare.
So like when I grew up in New Mexico, like, cause I'm originally from New Mexico, we had White Castle in New Mexico. It was one of the, I think it was one at the time, the farthest besides Phoenix or Scottsdale of a White Castle franchise. And it closed down like when I was a kid, but for some reason that nostalgia of White Castle still ingrains in my brain. But like I went with Zach, I believe, last time we went to Vegas for SHOT Show, and it was like it brought back some of that nostalgia, but it just wasn't the same. Like that White Castle like flavor, it just wasn't there. You know what I mean? Like it did hit the spot, but it just wasn't the same. You know?
Well, and I guarantee you it was more the fact that they weren't making it like they were back then than your taste buds maturing. I bet it just wasn't as good a food. We had an original White Castle here that Crystal put out of business. It was in downtown Huntsville. And I love those little burgers. And Crystals were great.
I love a good White Castle.
Do y'all have Crystals out there?
No.
They're the same little square burgers. They're similar, but different. They came in hard in the Southeast, and they kind of put White Castle out of business.
Interesting. Yeah, never heard of it.
Yeah, I'll show you a Crystal burger. They're another one of the places that I used to be able to go to late here that got freaking week after COVID, and they'll say they're open till 2 and they close, and you just get hosed. You just go by there and there's nothing there.
Wait. I had that same experience with my ex-girlfriend. Wait, what?
I thought that was funny.
I just started to go back through chat. I was like, wait, what?
Not the Hangover Crystal. I'm trying to find you just a regular Crystal cheese to show you. Oh, that's breakfast. Go to. Damn thing just show me. Oh, here we go. Wow, this is a horrible website for humans.
I'm curious, Zach. What was your opinion on White Castle when we went? Because I'm pretty sure we went together. It was a different night than one of the ones that we went to. Oh, what the fuck was the name of that taco spot in Vegas? That place was fucking amazing. They had that. Oh, now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Was it in a casino?
No, it was off strip. Tacos in Vegas.
So check these out.
It's not. It's basically Al Pastor, but it's not what it's called. Tacos El Gordo. That was the place. Tacos El Gordo is famous in Vegas, but I'm curious. Oh, that looks a lot like White Castle.
Yeah, they're a little square, and they do other stuff.
It is
too.
almost identical. Like, I mean, it's all the same stuff. I don't think White Castle does bacon at all in any way.
No, and the White Castle Crystals thing is they're mustard only. And you can still get White Castle burgers at like
Tacos El Gordo. Yeah, Tacos El Gordo. If you've never been to Vegas and gone to Tacos El Gordo, you don't go like you go to the one. Fuck, where is it? It's in the ghetto. It's not ghetto of Vegas, but it's off strip, way north. It's not in a decent area, but it is fucking amazing. Sorry for my language. But
Don't worry about it. As long as you don't get shot. That's why I mean, Vegas
Yeah.
scares me anytime I get off the strip because I'm a wuss.
yeah, Tacos El Gordo. If you're ever craving tacos, so yeah, White Castle is fairly good, kind of sketchy.
Across from
Yeah,
Circus
same
Circus.
thing. Yeah, across from Circus and that Walgreens. Yeah, Tacos El Gordo, amazing. They don't call it Tacos Al Pastor, but it's basically what it is. They call it something else. Now I should go to their website and figure out what it's called. Not Azteca.
Man, y'all are making me hungry. And I've got to, when we get through this live, I've got to shoot a video.
Adobada. So tacos adobada.
Tacos
So it's-
Avabada.
Adobada. So it's basically, if you've ever had an al pastor taco, where it's like a chili marinated pork kind of thing on like a it's called a plancha, or not a plancha. What the fuck is that thing called? Oh my god.
I'm just seeing recipes for it. Is this a recipe? Or is this a restaurant? Tacos? Abalaba? Is that supposed to be a restaurant?
Adobada.
Yeah, I got it spelled right. I'm just think. Maybe.
Adobada. Adobada. Mm-hmm. It's not called a plancha. It's called
No, the damn thing is looking
It's
at
something
my
with
local-
it's something with a T. Somebody's probably already typing it in chat. No, nobody's typing it in chat yet.
Hi, Terry. We're about to get out of here shortly too, buddy. I'm glad you hung out with us. I appreciate it. And I will probably do a pop-up Thursday, just a little short one. I want to take apart or attempt take apart this
a
ERM
trompo.
bulldog.
It's on a trompo.
Cheer it.
So think about marinated pork with like chili marinated pork. So it's like a red based pork, and then usually it has some sort of like pineapple on top. So it's like a sweet and spicy kind of like pork. So freaking good.
Yeah, I think Terry translated it for us. I think the translation is tacos marinated.
It's marinated. Yeah, exactly. It's so good.
Take care, Terry. Take care, brother. But yeah, I'm going to try to do a live disassembly on this knife, which I've never taken apart, and put skiffs in it. I saw that I have a pair of skiffs that match what they say this
For the
uses.
TRM?
Yep.
Oh.
This is the little bulldog. But I think they're tricky. I think I'm going to have to take off these little things before I'll be able to get the scales off. So it's going to be a pain in the ass. But I figured I'd do it live on a little pop-up.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I want to do those. I was going to do them twice a week, but that was ambitious. I figure if I do it once a week, just kind of randomly, and either sharpen a knife or take apart a knife, maintain a knife, do something that's more hands-on.
That'd be good.
Oh no, Crispy.
Yeah, it's a knife YouTube channel. We've gone full food. Just
that sucks, dude. That definitely sucks.
Ice last week shut down the Mexican restaurant. Best I ever had. So no more beef enchiladas. Gonna miss. That's fucked up.
It is fucked up.
When it comes to this comment, the first thing that comes to mind is find those weird looking hole in the wall restaurants that are Mexican restaurants in your hometown. Give them a try.
Or the one that was the best I found, there was a restaurant, but out by where I lived, there was a little taco truck that would stay until 10:30 at night. And it was just the best. I mean, the best little quesadillas, the best little just anything.
When I lived up in Reno, there was one at it was like outside of a motorcycle shop, and it only happened Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it was probably the best Mexican food you've ever had in your life.
And they probably only needed to open those days.
They only needed to open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in order to fulfill.
And people would just come find it.
Dude, there was an 1.5 to 4 hour wait just for anything. Like, that's how good. Like,
So
you find a hole in the wall place, you find some sort of food truck that is just elusive in some way, shape, or form. You go to call and it's like, oh yeah, that'll be like a 2-3 hour wait. Try waiting. Is my best suggestion to you. Try waiting.
Just do your best.
You'd be surprised.
I can cook for myself. I'm just not very elegant. I can definitely survive, but usually cooking for myself is more heating shit up. I can cook, but then I have to think about what I'm going to get ingredient wise. Am I going to keep it? How much am I going to make? Because I'm just cooking for me. When I was married and I had a daughter, I cooked all the time. It just made sense. Where now it's just like, nah.
I can cook for myself or others, but it's like, how much effort do I want to put in?
A
And
lot
how
of
much
people love doing
and
it.
how many dishes are others willing to do if I cook all that?
Right. Well, the type
Because
of cooking
I'm not
you
doing the
do,
dishes if I'm doing all that cooking.
but the type of cooking you do is more chef-like cooking, where you're, like you say, you're getting. I would, if I cook something, even if I went and got ingredients, I would probably use a third of the bowls that you use. But I'm simpler, right? I mean, I'm just.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
there's
be-
nothing wrong with that though. Like,
Dude, I love-
simpler is not always worse. Simpler can always be better, actually.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was kind of in the when I was dating that BPD chick that was just nuts. Just nuts. I won't even go into it. But she loved to cook. And she cooked great. And it was delicious. I mean, like I said, I could be a foodie. I could probably weigh 160 pounds if I was getting fed all the time.
160? That's it?
Dude,
Bro,
that
I
would
weigh
be
like a
huge
180
for me.
right now. What the fuck?
Dude, I'm like 125.
Bro, I weighed $180 and I'm 5'8".
I'm about I'm about 5'7". I guess I'm 5'7". I'm a small dude though. When I was in high school, like I wrestled my freshman year, 98 pounds. My sophomore year, 105. When I graduated high school, I weighed 119. I actually weighed about 126, but I was wrestling 119. And now that I've gotten old, I just never got fat. I've got a high metabolism. My RPM's idle high.
Yeah, I've never had a high pump
A
metabolism.
normal man's pocket. Yeah, but
Never
I
had a
kick
high
like a
metabolism.
motherfucker, dude. I'll give you one of those boot scooting goody sidekick nuts. Crispy critter.
Zach, are you still here?
Heck yes, it's early on y'all's coast. It's only
Yeah, it is. It's only 11 o'clock.
yeah, you guys got it made. It's only one here.
I mean, I need to go to bed soon, but it's
Yeah,
only 11 o'clock. I don't really give a fuck.
I've got to bounce only because I haven't recorded my video for tomorrow. I don't know what, and Zach could probably tell me this. I feel Zach like a prisoner because I, like an idiot, always started doing a video a day. And so I feel like I owe a video a day, that I need to do that. And I always have. And for a while I'd have them staged out like 3 or 4. And then I'd record. So I always had some of the cue. Well, for the last like 3-4 weeks, I've been recording them at not one before midnight. And a lot of times I don't know what I'm reviewing because I'm not reviewing because I don't have a knife. I'm doing like a collection type thing. And Zach, what I've got to do is go down to my local, I ain't doing shit. You're bigger and had training like me. Kyle, I'm telling you, dude, we will go to Blade Show. I'll make a special trip to your Blade Show and we won't swing hands, but I will grapple with you and my little tiny ass will make you go, holy shit, I can't breathe anymore. And then you'll tap and you won't know what happened. And I'll be like, dude, I hope you don't take that personally because I will have choked you out.
Basically, where I was going with this is seeing if Zach was still here. Is seeing Zach.
You can't see my ears right now.
Do you not
dude.
want to go to
My face
Blade
is
Show
off.
to see this guy right here? This guy.
Go Banny Rooster.
This guy right here.
No, Kyle's a scrapper too. But I think my ears are probably more cauliflowery than his. I'll go for it. I won't, like Tom Petty said, I won't back down. Just for sport. Now I will tap early too. If I realize I've bitten off more than I can chew, I'll be like tapping before I even get taken down. I'm not too proud for that. My ego died a long time ago. I killed it.
I feel like we all just need to get like an Airbnb somewhere and just have like some massive live stream.
Oh, let me tell you something. Did you see where Stevie and Matisfaction and them stayed?
Oh, I
With?
saw.
Dude, that's and they figured it out. And I think they even, when they did the math, it made perfect sense what they did.
And that's where I'm going with this. Is like to see all the people that we would normally never see, because like me, Zach, JB, a lot of us are West Coast, and to see a lot of people from the East / like middle part, in Atlanta, to just get a Airbnb and just all split it, and then have like a, not only just like hang out with each other by getting an Airbnb, but have like a massive live stream there.
Oh, dude, it would be great. I'm telling you. And what was so cool about just like last year, and every year Stevie and them get one, and we stayed in one the year before. I just went up for one day last year, which was a mistake. I'll never do that again. But they'll go to the show for a couple hours, and then they'll go and a bunch of people will hang out at the Airbnb. So they break it up, because
me and Zach are usually at the freaking show the whole time. Zach and I are usually there the whole time.
And the great thing
after party afterwards.
That's the whole thing, is the pit.
The after party, the pit, is what I hear like Blade Show is known for.
And see, I don't
drink.
Yes,
absolutely.
But I had a blast there. I even got a video of it. I didn't do any like actual footage when I was at Blade Show. I didn't record anything, but I did do a short of when I was standing up looking down at the pit, and dude, it was just nuts.
Fucking Donnie, I can't share sleeping space with y'all, but I'm down for the party. Donnie, we'd all have our own room.
I'm the best Airbnb roommate because I just look for 2 trees in the back to hang my hammock in. I love to be in my hammock when I go travel.
Donnie, we'd have our own room.
But yeah, just
that's where I'm going. I'm talking about finding an Airbnb that will host, like 12 to 18 people, like enough room, like probably like 6, 7, 8 rooms, and just.
Dude, we've got the best place, but it's in LJ, Georgia. It's about 45.
Because you have to think. I mean, you have to think. Some of these people, like Kara and Neves, like the Neves, would have one room. Kara and Jared have one room.
Yeah, they did last year, and there were several other couples.
Same thing with Tri-State. Tri-State and his wife would have one room.
Well, so Kara could stay with me, but only let Cole edit. Cole's edit focused. Now they stayed with us at LJ. We my buddy A to Z EDC, my local buddy here, who doesn't do a lot of YouTube, but he goes to Blade Show with me. They've got a vacation property that they rent out in a place called LJ, Georgia, which is about 40 miles outside of Atlanta in the mountains. And there's a creek runs in front of the property. It's a 3-story. It's got bunk beds downstairs. It's got on the main floor a master bedroom. Then upstairs, it's got 2 bedrooms. And I always sleep in a hammock outside. It was great except for the drive, because we go out there afterwards and make a big fire, because it's got a big fire pit, and just sit around and shoot the shit. But it's not convenient because you'd have to leave the pit to go back there, and you can't get people. It's too far for people to drive, especially if they've been drinking. What's up, Michael? Up church channel member?
But it's like,
brother.
When it comes down to it, like, it's like if I'm going to Blade Show like that, like same thing when I go to Blade Show West, like I think I walked pretty much the majority of the time I was at Blade Show West when it's been in Salt Lake City. Like I found a hotel close and I stayed alone the last time at least. But it's like I prefer to stay with people. Like the people are what make that experience. Like staying alone was not fun. Like staying with people is what makes that experience. So getting a Airbnb or getting a hotel room that will accommodate a ton of fucking people is what makes that experience. Like the closer you can get it, obviously, the better. But I'm curious to go back to Donnie's. Ern and I were weird. We didn't like sharing a living space with others. Like, yeah, I mean, like,
Donnie
when it
wants
comes down to it, sharing a living space is not always the most fun. But like, you have to look at it as the experience in itself. Like,
Yeah,
you're
it's not
going
the
to
comfort.
Blade Show to hang out with the people that you want to be around. You know what I mean? Also, I can smoke cigs and weed at Airbnb. If I can't smoke, I'm not sleeping there, period. I mean, like, dude,
There
I
was so
vape.
much weed
I
smoked
vape.
there was so much weed smoked at the Airbnbs where we were.
Yeah, I vape, dude.
We all
Like, I
sat out
understand. I understand smoking. Like, I like vaping. Like, but most places don't get too upset if you vape indoors because it just doesn't leave as much of a scent.
And it's in June, right? So it's always nice. I remember we sat last year we sat out back the whole time when we would just sit around and pass and talk. And
Yeah.
I remember
Also,
Shane
bless.
was there arguing with somebody about China knives. It was hilarious. He was arguing with what's his
Donnie.
name? Grumpy.
But bless. I got fucked up at the pit last year. Dude, I was 12 and a half years sober. I just started drinking. I'm Scotch.
Dude.
I'm Scotch Irish. I'm already 2 tall cans of triple IPA deep, which is basically 4 beers a piece. So that's 8 beers and 2 single barrel proofs deep. I plan on having fucking fun, bro.
Dude, I wonder, did you feel guilt? Because I always feel like I could drink, even though I know it's my brain talking to me, but I always feel like I could drink and not be like I was. But I think I'm lying to myself. And you probably never were like I was.
I don't necessarily feel guilt.
Like when you first jumped into it, did you feel guilt?
When I first jumped into it, I didn't feel guilt. What I felt was a sense of I'm going into this with a open mind and an open heart, and if I know for a fact that things are getting out of control, that I need to
you've got the
do
signals
something.
to stop. Yeah. And see, I think I could rationalize that and in all truth live a much happy.
Like,
I mean,
what it boils down to is like there's certain things in life that I've missed. So like me, those who don't know me, I was a heroin addict. I was also a garbage disposal of any kind, basically. Any drug I was down to try. There's very few things that I haven't tried in life. But mainly drugs was my thing. Alcohol doesn't really do anything for me. Like, yeah, I'll get a little bit tipsy, but like for me, it's like I have a sober, a buzzed, and then just like I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. There's like a huge gap in between. I don't have that like I'm drunk or like I need to stop. Like I think it's the Scotch Irish in me, but I don't have that. Either I am on the verge of alcohol poisoning or I'm just feeling good. Like that's my two things. Like
so
that's
can
just
you control
how I
that
am.
where you are now, or do you? Because for
Yeah.
me, I used to go
it's not a
straight
problem.
to like if I could stop at like 3 Crown and Cokes and take a break, I'd be good. But I drink like 6, then I'd always inevitably make a phone call, and then I'd drink till I blacked out, and it was like somebody wound me up, so I'd continue to function, and I wouldn't do stupid shit. I mean, people wouldn't have crazy John stories. I would just have no memory of what I did. So
I've never had that. So the only time that I've ever been blackout drunk has to do with Xanax or some other form of pharmaceutical included in drinking. Like just alcohol alone, I have never been blackout drunk.
Well, when I realized it was a problem was when I'd quit everything else because I detoxed myself over a period of time, and then I was drinking, smoking, but I noticed my drinking was getting big time. Like I was drinking a lot more to make up for the stuff I wasn't doing.
Yeah.
And I think where I am now, kind of my little California sober wall that I walk is pretty good for me. I mean, I do miss occasional good drink, especially at places like Blade Show's social situations, but it keeps me from saying stupider shit than I say anyway when I'm sober. So
I
that's a
mean,
good thing.
just like everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're an alcoholic or not. Like booze will lower the inhibitions. Like you will be able to say, do, or
Dude, it's so
like
much.
be something you're not. You know what I mean?
Let me
Like
tell you something. To me, it was a great normalizer because I remember when I was young, when I first kind of discovered alcohol, it made me lose some of those inhibitions so I could talk to chicks, I could do stuff like that. Well, when I got divorced, got sober, and started dating this very atypical personality person, it was the first person I kissed sober, dude. So I went through this whole courting thing sober. This is before I went California sober. This is when I was like stone cold sober. And it was just brutal, dude. It was so awkward. It was so like uncomfortable. I mean, and I just remember thinking how good a drink would take the edge off.
yeah. I mean, it's like one of the things that in my 12 and a half years of sobriety that I missed, and it had nothing to do with necessarily being drunk or having that weight lifted in any sense of the word. It's more, I just missed enjoying a beer on a hot summer's day. Like for me, for whatever reason, like that was just pure bliss. Like
Well,
I don't get drunk. I don't feel anything from one beer, but it was just like,
it was it's something you look forward to in a way. It's
yeah,
something
it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to put into words in a sense. Like,
and if as long as your life's manageable, which yours obviously is, I mean, the whole thing is where I came from. I think I was kind of not tricked into going to AA. I just went because I was in marriage counseling and it was something that they suggested I do and it stuck. But again, I'm not 100% subscribed to the fact that never. Sober means, Steve, depending on who you talk to, sober means absence of alcohol and drugs. And unfortunately, if you ask most people, they're going to say marijuana, psilocybin mushrooms, things like that are drugs. I don't agree with that, but I'm not a scientist. But yeah, sober means the absence of those chemicals in all truth, if you were to Google it.
in my personal opinion, and this is again my personal opinion, that's more abstinence. Abstinence is where you are avoiding the things that you had a problem with. To me, I never had a problem with alcohol.
And in all truth, my consequences, I got a DUI when I was 18, and that was me getting caught in a roadblock, but still it was a consequence. But I didn't always get in trouble, but when I had bad things happen, alcohol was involved.
I mean, and that's how it is for most people. You know what I mean? Like, this is a whole nother like rabbit hole we can go down, but it's like alcohol, weed, or any other like normal pharmaceutical that you take on a recreational basis, not necessarily because you take it recreationally, but something you take normally, can be in that gray area.
Absolutely.
Where it comes to where like you are reliant on it, you need it to function, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. Like I know for a fact, like you take ADHD medication. We're not going to go into it, but you take ADHD medication.
Yes, and
that might work, and that might work for you. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's what you might need to function normally in life. and that's fine. That's that's brain chemistry. Like, I think that's what a lot of people get off-putting, like off-put about in some sense. It's like you're taking a controlled substance, but it's like, but that's what my brain needs to function on a daily basis. You know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
it's
It's like
not something that I'd go out and
you
shop.
don't physically enjoy necessarily having to take it. It's
No, I
something
take
that
it with
you
my blood
need
pressure
to,
medicine at 5:30 in
yeah,
the morning, like everything
yeah,
else.
and it's something you need to function every day in
But
order to
it's
live a
funny that you
normal
say
life.
that because my sponsor, he and I didn't agree on a lot of different things, but
Yeah.
he was still a great sponsor. But he
Mhm.
thought that I needed to try to go against what my psychiatrist, because I went to a psychiatrist and a psychologist, was recommending, and try, just the whole higher power theory. And I was like, when I talked to my psychiatrist, they were like, if you don't take this Abilify, this stuff that they prescribed me for depression, you're going to have a much higher chance of relapse. You can tell him not, and I realized then, because I was right around the time I was turning 50, that it didn't matter what they thought, right?
Night, Zach.
Night, Zach. And we're about to get out of here too, guys. Eggs,
Yeah.
you got anything to share before we go? It's been interesting. I enjoy talking about different shit.
Yeah, I mean, I love talking about shit. I love how we went down the whole food rabbit hole today. It was great.
I didn't know
Like,
you had so much culinary past
Yeah.
life experience.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I love cooking. It's
Were you
like,
sober when you were cooking, or was that when you were using?
so I'll put it this way: like, even when I was a kid, I was one of those kids who loved watching Food Network growing up. Like, a lot of people gave me shit when I was a kid growing up for it. Like, they're like, "Why the fuck are you watching Food Network all the time?" But it's like, it's something that I have passion about, and it's like one of those things where it's like, if you find a passion that you love in life, there's
You
nothing
got to
wrong with that.
pursue it.
You know what I
You got
mean?
to
Pursue it. You know what I mean? Like, if you know it's something that's not completely unhealthy for you, like, granted, we were just talking about a lot of drugs and stuff, like, don't pursue something that's unhealthy for you.
No, and cautionarily, that was kind of a cautionary
Yes,
tale
yes,
of
exactly. But it's like one of those things where it's like, if you find something that you are passionate, that you love, that interests you so much, that drives you into becoming a better person, it's like, go after it. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And like, I did the same thing. Like, granted, I didn't get into the food industry until I was sober. Like, I started as a dishwasher and worked my way up, and I mean,
kind of gave you something to chase, kind of gave you a new,
yeah, it
a
did,
new direction.
and that path was very quickly, like a very quick path. Like, I dishwashed for about 3 months before I was promoted, not even to a line or like a prep cook, but immediately to a line cook, because like my passion, drive, and understanding of what, like the culinary world was already ingrained in me as a child. It helped like push me in that direction.
Yeah, it
And
helps you
like,
be
I already
more.
had that knowledge of like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, I experimented on my own of like, like going into my kitchen and like saying like, oh, I only have this, and this to eat. And it's like, let me try combining this and this, maybe this, and this, and seeing what comes out. And it's like, sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a terrible thing. You know what I mean?
There's
Like, and
probably a
it's
lot of
like, it's all
confidence that came with
experimentation.
that your
Yeah.
employers could see that you had that curiosity / confidence that
Yeah.
made you desirable.
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to in all things in life. It's like, you find that thing that drives you, that you're passionate about, that just makes you want to be that person, and then just fucking going with it. You know what I mean? Like, as long as it's healthy, go for it.
Coming from somebody my age, life's short. Chase your dreams, and don't be afraid to fail, because that's how you learn. That's how you readjust. That's how
Absolutely.
you maybe hit your
100%
goal.
agree with that statement.
Eggs, I appreciate
Absolutely
you,
agree
brother.
with that statement. Like,
I'm gonna grab something to eat.
I appreciate you too,
I
buddy.
love all you guys.
Good
Do me a
night, man.
favor. Look out for
Love
the
you
guy or
guys.
gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward. Keep loving your heart. Use debate, not hate.